Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. This is the real Jimmy Johnson, just not that Jimmy Johnson. What's going on? It's the 2025 NFL Draft. Excited to have my brother on here with me, broadcasting. Jim, how you doing tonight, man?
Good, good. I'm just excited for the long haul, the marathon that we always embark on here. Sometimes it's in a restaurant bar, sometimes it's here on YouTube, but
I
it's always
know
good
we
to
used to when I lived down. That's one of the things when I used to live next to you guys in Austin.
yeah,
We used to actually do this in person with the
yeah,
crew.
yeah.
So,
And I know we've got a couple
definitely,
on that used to join us.
definitely miss those days. But as you guys are in here, whether you're here at the beginning, throughout, rewatching, please hit that like button, subscribe, the whole bit. I see 30 people already here in attendance, so it's great within the first minute. Last night we had 200 people in the chat as we were talking pre-draft, as we were talking Texas. So hit that like button. Joey Flores, you already know the assignment. Hit it for roll call. That's how we take attendance here and bring the energy. It's draft night, right? Like we got so many storylines to unpack throughout. Jim and I will, we're Cowboys fans, so we're going to be talking about what moves we want to see from our team, and we'll have some conversational topics throughout in terms of what the Cowboys will do at 12 if they stay at 12, if there's any position. One thing I find interesting today, all of the teams in the NFL, all 32 teams have their pick for the first time in the modern history of the draft. I think that's interesting. Now,
Yeah,
if that plays out tonight, we'll see. But
probably
it's
not.
never happened, Jim, coming into the draft that everybody has their pick. So really, really interesting starting off this night. What's up, JB? What's up, Jacob Woodyard? How you guys doing? Hoping the boys do well tonight and my Texans. Yeah, I know I cover a lot of Texans people here since I'm a Texas guy. You guys are what, pick 25, I think? I'm hearing a lot of offensive lineman chatter. Maybe Tyler Booker from Alabama. Who do you want if you're a Houston Texans fan? You guys have basically fired your coach, your offensive, your OC, and your offensive line trying to rebuild the whole thing. So I'm curious to see what Texas fans want to do to protect one CJ Stroud. Jim, in terms of the Dallas Cowboys, I don't think it's a secret where you fall in terms of what you want to see.
Yeah.
But just in terms of where your head's at tonight, if there's anything that's
I'll go back.
popped
Yeah,
up
sorry,
over
I
the
got the
last X amount.
yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you
Oh.
need homework help, don't you? No, no. Yeah, I mean, no, I mean the wide receiver is definitely the one that is obvious, right? Skill positions. I'd love for Genty to fall in our lap, but that's probably not realistic. And outside of Genty, it's a very deep draft for running back, and I think we can address that need probably second, third round. But I know we've had sidebar conversations about that good tight end that's out there that can fill a couple needs for us. But I'm really
I don't
hoping
think
that
I don't think he's falling to 12 either.
yeah, a lot of the mock drafts have him going to like 14, which is crazy. I'm like, wow, okay, well, I guess we'll see. But I think this draft is going to be interesting because this is one of the few drafts that I remember where the first five picks weren't like a lock. It was almost like in the previous drafts, you can almost go, okay, these five are gone. Let's move to this pile down here, and we can kind of decide what we're going to get. The Giants could mess this draft up. The Browns could mess this draft up really fast. If they took, like, if the Browns took Shadur, for example, and not Travis, like the trade up party starts, right?
Exactly.
Um,
All hell
yeah.
would break
So
loose.
yeah, and then you got the Giants, where everybody thinks that they're taking a Penn State edge rusher. However, they could take Shadur and kind of send everything on a tailspin. So Shadur could go second overall, or he could go to the Steelers at the end of the draft. So it's going to be interesting to see where everything shakes out.
He might slip all the way out of the first round. Now, if you look at Vegas, his over under draft slot went from 8.5 to 21.5, which is essentially the New Orleans Saints pick at 9, which is where a lot of people liked him. and obviously the Steelers at 21, which would be the last, maybe the last realistic team. Although the Rams, we could see what they do. I
Yeah.
do think it's interesting, though, all of the scuttlebutt around one Jackson Dart. That has been the name that has popped up, and that has been the name that has been thrown around by the Giants. And
Hmm.
now you're hearing Jackson Dart's name thrown around by the New Orleans Saints. Is that smokescreen stuff? Is the report about Shadur having the worst interview ever and all this type of stuff? Who, by the way, folks, he's Deion Sanders' son, and he's a pretty flashy kid in his own right. He is going to get that type of attention and that type of smoke regardless. But is it posturing, right? We've seen that happen in the draft too many times to get fooled by it. But I think it's interesting if he does slide. I think Pittsburgh might be the spot for him. I do believe that the Jackson Dart stuff is real in terms of how these teams feel about him. And some of these teams may not be comfortable dealing with what comes with Shador, which may be Dion over his shoulder.
Hmm.
And I think that could play into things. I'm not saying I agree with it, but that's the narrative. And that's, why we have different front offices picking
Yep.
every single year, too.
Hey, do
Right.
you think there's any team that is off limits? Because Dion has been on podcasts saying certain teams draft my son, and we're going to say no. We're going to pull an Eli. So I'm curious to see if any of that plays out as
Yeah,
well.
I do. I definitely think there are teams that are off limits. Listen, they're here for the long haul, not the immediate money. And I think that Deion Sanders, people that have been in the league, people that have been around the league understand it's 50% on you and it's 50% who gets you and
Hmm.
where you go. We have seen really good players go into impossible situations
Yeah.
with organizations that have no idea what they're doing, no plan, and the player has almost no chance, but everybody blames the player and calls that guy a bust, right? So
Cleveland.
I think they understand the New York Jets, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to certain positions. Now,
Yep.
certain other positions, you could be a baller, but you may not impact win loss. Like you brought up Cleveland, like they drafted Joe Thomas. He never played in a playoff game, and he's going to be a Hall of Famer. That's
Right.
sad,
Yep.
right? But every quarterback they've had, or every major guy they've come, even the Baker Mayfields of the world who have had success in the NFL, have had to go to other situations to have their success. They can't have it with you for a sustained period of time. And it's because your organization doesn't know what they're doing. The Giants are teetering. Now, they haven't been that historically as we know, but the Giants have been over the last 10 years the worst team in the league. If we
Yep.
talk about win loss, they're the same guys that have picked Daniel Jones, and he was awful since somebody brought up Danny Dimes. And I know Dimple Wonder, that's your team.
Yep.
Y'all been trash for a minute, right? And you've had multiple different people in there. And so it's like, maybe they blew off the interview. I thought your team was somebody in here said they were a Giants fan. If I said that was your team, brother, I'm sorry. They're not. He said,
Gave
excuse
him some PTSD.
somebody in here said they were a Giants fan
My
earlier in the
team?
chat.
No, of course not. Shout out to Rick in the chat here. I noticed he said Sanders could go 12. That would be something, wouldn't it?
JB said he's a Giants fan. My bad. My
Yeah.
bad. My bad, Dimple Wonder. I got you confused with JB. My bad. Go ahead, Jim.
Oh, I was just Rick. Rick made the comment that Shadur could drop to the Cowboys at 12, which would be something, wouldn't it?
That would break the internet.
That would break the internet.
That would break the internet.
That would also immediately put Schottenheimer on the hot seat for Dion taking this job.
But then that would also cause the financial backlash from that would be crazy because then it's like, well,
What
why
are we
did you
doing?
restructure everybody's contracts? So it looks like the Titans pick is in. Cam Ward, looking at his eyes and the emotion there, I think we know it's all going to be him. I'm very happy for Cam Ward, who started down in San Antonio, Jim, at Incarnate Word.
I was
And
wondering if
it's
you were going to bring that up because, as a Texas State alum and somebody that actually watched Cam Ward walk into our house as an FCS school where we thought we were going to hang 70 on him, and we left there with the L and said, "What happened?" now I don't feel as bad as
Oh yeah, you feel completely
today.
different today.
I go, well, okay, Eric Morris, you got us. Congratulations, you caught us on the right day, and you had a number one pick in the NFL. Hopefully here in a second, so that's awesome for him. That's a cool story. I mean, I think of Cam Newton as well, going to Blinn and kind of working his way up too.
One thing I like about these guys, we talk about the slide, especially with quarterbacks. Again, since it is the most important position in the sport, I believe it's the hardest and most difficult position to navigate in all of pro sports.
Hmm.
But one of the things that I've always said I want or would like to see with my quarterbacks is them overcoming adversity and overcoming difficult situations. Because if you even look at the all-time greats, they've all had to deal with BS, whether it's in college, early in their pro career, whether it's sitting, not being as you have to deal with something. Your offensive line all of a sudden is in ruins. Your
Yeah.
wide receiver room is young boys, whatever. You're going to have to deal with adversity. Cam Ward is officially number one. So, Jim, I'll add that to the tracker. But him going from being a zero-star recruit and somebody that thought he should have been a bigger recruit out of high school,
Yep.
and him, and I think it was him and his dad that were like, "Hey, we got to go back to work. We got to go. Something's off with our game. We got to go back to the lab." He goes to Incarnate Word. Obviously, Jamie, you talked about it. He balls out.
Yep.
He gets an opportunity to go to Washington State. Now we're going to a Power Five opportunity. He plays so well there that he could have entered the draft after the year he had at Washington State, but he said, "Hey, let's refine our game. Let's get better." He goes to Miami. He leads Miami to one of their best seasons they've had in a really long time.
Yep.
And now he's the number one pick. So he's
I
obviously
think
shown.
he would have stayed at Washington State if it wasn't for Eric Morris leaving. Eric Morris is the one that kind of bounced on him. So like that was his coach, and he did pretty well at Washington State. But the fact that he ended up in Miami, I mean that he really took it to another level there.
Well, I also think that and the doom of the Pac-12 overall.
Yep. Yep.
They didn't have they didn't Washington State this past year didn't have much of a conference to
No,
participate with.
got left in the
Unfortunate,
cold. Yep.
unfortunate, because back in the day, Washington State, those are teams that used to go to the Rose Bowl.
Yep.
So
Yep.
but yep, Cam Ward to Tennessee. It definitely gives you Steve McNair vibes.
Yep.
I have been hearing that comp a lot. He does look physically like Steve McNair. I don't think that's a lazy comparison, especially with the power, the
Hmm.
athleticism. It does give you Steve McNair vibes. Steve McNair is still a very big deal in the Tennessee community. I go to Nashville a lot for work.
Yep.
He is still on the poster on the side of the stadium till this day. Massive scale, right? From the highway, you can see Steve McNair. If you ever guys go downtown Nashville, on the other side of Broadway, you can see the Steve McNair thing
Hmm.
on the stadium. So they've been looking for that guy for a long, long time. They've had little spurts here and there. Vince Young had his little moment. Marcus Mariota had his moment. Tannehill had some good years, but they haven't had that, you know. Wow, Jacksonville traded up to 2 with the
Oh
Browns.
boy, here we go. See, spoke too soon. Well, is it so? That's Travis Hunter, right?
Are they going to go get Travis Hunter?
Yeah. What are the Browns doing then? If they're not gonna draft
See,
a
what I had
generational
heard,
talent?
Jim, was that at 5 they were between Ashton Genty and McMillan, and because their new
That's very
coach,
that's very helpful to the Cowboys. You're right because if they're getting Hunter,
if they
then that
get
means they're
Hunter,
out on Tet. So that's very helpful for us.
which then means that's going to mess up. The Raiders may take Genty instead of say Kelvin Banks. The draft is
It's
the
already
draft has
started.
started right now. The draft started right now.
And
I
this is
wonder
what
what
I
the
what I meant by
compensation was.
unknown. This is unknown, right? Like there was nothing really decided. I mean, even Jerry alluded, even though I don't believe what Jerry says ever. I mean, he alluded to there was a lot of calls coming his way in terms of trades, right? So I think that's helpful for a trade down situation where we can gain another pick and get our fourth back, please. You to start there, but you know, we'll see.
um, so we got Cam Ward, number one, QB, Miami.
Do you favor Tet over Golden? I know you're a UT guy, so
For so here's where I'm
if you
at.
get to choose at 12, let's just leave it
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. So I'll put it this way: I have them as the same tier of player. I actually have three guys as the same tier of receiver: Tet, Golden, as well as Emeka Ibuka from Ohio State. I think I have them all at the same tier.
Yep.
The reason why I prefer McMillan is because of the skill set that he has
Yep.
in complement to CeeDee Lamb. And honestly, Dak Prescott's never had a big power forward receiver.
Yeah.
That's all it is. There's a lot of things that I like that I prefer that Matthew Golden does. There's a lot of things I prefer that Emeka Ibuka does over both of them, quite
Yep.
frankly.
Yep.
And but I think at this point, if all three are available for what we're looking for, I think you can use all three. By the
Yep.
way, I don't have Luther Burden in that group, not because of Luther Burden's skill set. I want to make this clear for people listening. Not for Luther Burden's skill set, but because we don't know how to use players like him that well. We're not that creative.
The
I
scheme
like
doesn't work for him.
I like
Yeah.
I like people where we know I can see you in our offense. And
Right.
those three I can see us use them opposite of CD. What's cool with this Travis Hunter thing is he's going to be able to play in his home state of Florida. Now he
Mm-hmm.
played high school ball in Georgia, but he's a Florida boy. For those who don't know,
True.
so
That is true.
this is interesting. This is really interesting.
Yeah. So I agree with you. Right. Like I think some of the raw numbers on Golden are Tyreek Hill esque in terms of speed and separation and all that, which is exciting. But the the ability to get somebody that is 6'5", that when you're one of the worst teams in the league in red zone offense and efficiency, to give Dak not only his tight end and Ferguson, but also another big tall target to just go moss everyone and get that touchdown. That's really exciting. And his tape is, I don't care what his 40 is, his tape is special. He's got some
Yeah,
good
his game
vision.
isn't. Yeah, his game isn't based on speed, and it's interesting because he does get pretty decent separation for a guy his size. The
Mhm.
thing I like about McMillan is he plays to his size, and he's been a dog since high school.
Yep.
And you're going to hear me use that word a lot tonight with several different because that's honestly when we look at that 50% of what we need from that player, I need somebody that's going to be a dog in the building. And that's another reason why I do like Matthew Golden if it ends up that direction for whatever reason. And I'll talk about Matthew Golden here in a little bit after we get to the Travis Hunter pick. Who's making this pick? Who's is this? I saw the thing. I was looking at a caption. Um, Gaddis, we're on the second pick of the draft. Jacksonville just traded up from 5 to 2. It looks like they're going to be getting Travis Hunter. So
Yeah.
we've
By the
already
way,
started
by
off
the way,
crazy.
rules of the draft. When we get to the Cowboys, don't tell us in the chat what the pick is because we
Yeah, please.
probably have about a 10-second delay, if anything. So Eric Armstead is the player here.
Oh, he was man. He was the Walter Payton Man of the Year.
Yep.
So I guess Hayward was the one in 2023, and then Dak
I,
was
I would say, like,
2022.
the other question is I know Travis is going home maybe here, but does he want to play for Jacksonville? It's a valid question.
I don't think he's a country boy though. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. You know what he cares about? Can I fish there?
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair.
That's the only.
And he's got a true love for the game for sure.
Yeah. Now Liam Cohen being their coach, he made it very clear he's there to help Trevor Lawrence. So I do think that, like Cleveland said, if they pick Travis Hunter, he would be offense first in their
Yeah.
regard. That's what Andrew
That
Berry
was my
said.
next question. Like, are they going to let him play both ways? Are they going to force him to do one and then evolve him into a two-way player? Or
It is cool to see his pops there.
yeah,
Let's go, Trav. Um, I think offensively, you have to figure out how to maximize Trevor Lawrence. I'm sorry. The defense, I think he will be allowed to play both ways because you're Jacksonville and it could
Yeah,
be an attraction.
yeah,
They're not a serious franchise. No disrespect.
yeah. That's
They're
fair.
not. So that's why you go get it. This makes great sense to me.
Yeah.
Especially him being in his home state anyway. Like,
The compensation wasn't terrible too. Cleveland kind of did all right. I mean, yeah, you lose a
what's the
generational talent,
compensation? I didn't see it.
but
What are
let me
you
pull it
seeing?
back up here. One sec.
They have Brian Thomas Jr., who's what, third or fourth in the league in receiving last year in yards
Yeah,
from LSU.
if Trevor can't do it with this guy, then
Oh yeah,
maybe.
Trevor. There's no more. There's no more excuses
Mm-mm.
for Mr. Lawrence.
All right, so Cleveland gets number 5, and what is the rest? I know there was more. There's some second round picks in there. I saw that. Somebody's got it in the chat. Drop it. I know I saw it.
The compensation for Cleveland going down to 5. Does that impact the Giants at all?
Okay, I think I found it. Okay, so the Browns are trading number 2 for number 5. Um, they also get they're trading their 4th round pick, their 6th round pick to the Jaguars, and then the Jaguars traded the 5th pick, a 2nd round number 36, and a 4th round number 126, and their 2026 first round pick. So Browns got a lot of picks on just to move down a few slots. I'm gonna drop it in here into the chat if I can.
Hmm.
That way everybody can look at that.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was a lot to move down just a little bit. But I mean, it is Travis Hunter. You know,
I'm
not sure
just
it was.
I'm
It wasn't smart
processing.
on Jackson. Well, I get back to the unserious franchise, right? Um, they're looking to sell tickets, is what I see. But there
I
we
think
go.
the two-way thing, guys. Look, we'll see, but they're going to need to have people that are in the build. Like, if he believes that he can do it and they have a plan, it comes down to, do you have a plan? And it starts with how he's training. Because one of the things that Travis had elite with, whether you like Travis Hunter or think he's overrated or whatever, you have to agree his conditioning is top tier, right? He has the conditioning of somebody that is in combat sports, kind of, when you think about his cardio, the amount of plays he plays. And to do that at the college level is really, really difficult. Yeah, the Giants pick is already in. That's crazy. Um,
But they won't show until like tomorrow.
but the plan,
Yeah,
what is the plan, right? What if
right.
I'm playing on defense, how many snaps is he going to play? Is he playing, certain situations? Because you do have to, it's a 17 game season and it's a different level of physicality. There's a different level of athlete that he will be dealing with that he was not dealing with in the Big 12, quite frankly. No
Yeah.
disrespect, right? It's the NFL. I don't think I would say that if you play in the SEC. So we have to factor that in. But yeah, Deion Sanders did that. And that was the year we won the Super Bowl, by the way, folks. When he started, he was our wide receiver too for half that season in '96. And we opened that. So if you go watch Super Bowl 30, uh, Troy Aikman, deep post, 47 yards to Deion Sanders to open that football game.
Yeah.
So
Fair.
Deion was one of one back then. So it's cool to see this, 30 years later with that. Now the Giants pick is in, but while we're waiting for that, I wanted to finish my point, Jim, on Matthew Golden.
Hmm.
You brought up the the 40 time and the workout and everything. He ran 4.29, and the tape may not necessarily show you somebody like that. He doesn't necessarily. He's a great football player, and he blew us away at Texas. Well, damn, the Giants pick came in fast. All
They
right,
know who
well,
it is. Yeah.
let me. Abdul.
Yeah. I
Okay.
mean,
All
yeah.
right. Well, let me finish my point, and then I'll
Yeah.
touch on
Go ahead.
Abdul. We'll touch on Abdul Carter. Um, they One of the things with Matthew Golden was he was brought in to be a complementary piece in our receiving room.
Yeah.
Isaiah Bond was brought in to really be our high
Burner.
profile burner at the
Yeah.
X. Matthew Golden won the job opposite of him, really kind of in that zero, replacing AD Mitchell. And then we had Jonte Cook getting ready to come in, Ryan Wingo, all these other guys. And as the
Hmm.
season went on, and as things happened in the room, as injuries took place, Matthew Golden stepped up into a role that nobody really foresaw, starting in the Michigan game. In that Michigan game against really, really good coverage, he was catching the ball with his hands over his head, the red zone. And he's a guy that's only 5'11. I think he
Hmm.
was 5'11, 190. So you don't love the size there for what you're trying to do on the other side of CD. He's actually smaller than CD,
Yeah.
but he plays much bigger than his size. But I also never looked at the film and was like, he's a 4.3 guy
Right.
either, personally.
Right.
He's fast.
Yeah.
He can get separation. He can get behind people. That was not the nature of our offense and how we were using him.
Yeah.
I am curious to see in the NFL if he ever looks like what he ran. He was a good track guy coming out of
Well,
out of high
the raw
school. I do
numbers
remember that.
say Tyreek Hill, but the tape says otherwise. And that's the thing where I was like, and it's inverted for Tech, right? Where it's like the numbers aren't like eye popping, but then you look at the tape and you're like, wow, hold on. And he can get off the line. He can beat press coverage. He gets a little redirected on his routes sometimes, but like in terms of finding holes in the zone, and then making people miss, he seems to have pretty good vision. That's the reason why I think McMillan is special.
Now the Giants got a great football player here in Abdul Carter. Um, no doubt about it. There's a
Wearing number
reason why
11 too.
and the reason why he wears number 11 is his big bro is Micah,
Yep.
and that's been the case. He's been mentored and training with him the whole bit. He plays. It's a Micah Parsons starter kit. I mean, you're looking
Yep.
at the tape. Last year when Penn State went to, they was them versus Notre Dame head up. They didn't lose the game because of him.
Yeah.
He gave them. They kept getting the ball back to their offense for Drew Aller to do nothing with.
Yeah.
But him in that Penn State defense was unbelievable. He also won me over in the Ohio State game that they lost. The Ohio State game that they lost, he played like it was a heavyweight fight, and was getting active on those guys that weren't great tackles for
Yeah.
Ohio State, and he took advantage of his matchup. I think he had like 2 or 3 sacks in that game. So a big game player. Sucks to have him in the division.
I was just
Um,
about to say I would get really irritated with year over year over year over year the NFC East just stockpiles all the linebackers and defensive linemen. I don't, we have to have the best stable of defensive linemen in any division. I mean, it's ridiculous.
so Travis has, yeah, my buddy just texted me. He's like, Travis has to play receiver, right? I'm like,
They said WR. I don't know if that means anything, but that's what they announced him as. So take that for what it's worth. But
is there any other position in play for the Cowboys, or do you think it's at this point best receiver available? I mean, what else would you see?
offensive line. I mean, that's the only other one where, and I mean, it just depends on what they're thinking internally, right? Like, are they selling already on Tyler Guyton? You know, I would bet no because that would mean that they spent a first round pick on a left tackle that they've already given up on, and I don't think they have. But the only way that they do take a left tackle, say, Banks, for example, would be they're thinking, hey, let's move Guyton to right tackle, right, and make Steele the swing, or let's move him to right guard, and then let's get back to business like we used to do. But if you take a left tackle in that pick, it has to be a plug day one starter. It can't be another developmental pick.
Here's why I don't have a problem if they do that. And I'm with you about the Guyton thing.
Yep.
You have to weigh that. But this is a conversation me and you've had offline
Yep.
that we can bring here. I'm personally, especially where we're picking and the amount of holes we have, I'm best player available.
Yep.
And if Banks, Rick, you brought up Will Campbell. I don't think Will Campbell's going to drop personally. I think you might see Will Campbell go right now. But anything can happen. We just saw Travis Hunter go to Jacksonville at 2, right?
Yep.
And that means we don't know what Cleveland's going to do at 5. So we got to wait.
Yep.
But
I
if
kind
one
of
of
feel
the
like I
tackles,
kind of feel like that's Shadir now because like that makes too much sense at 5. But we'll see. I mean, who knows? It could be Genty too, but there was already smoke about Shadir going to 2 or going at 2. So I was like, well,
interesting.
we'll
But
see.
yeah, we'll see. Especially with all the scuttlebutt the last few days.
Yeah.
But my thing is with best player available, if a Campbell or a Kelvin Banks falls or whoever, I can justify picking them at 12 and saying, well, guys, they were at the top of the board, right? Like
Hmm.
if we're being honest with our board and our evaluation, and this guy is, let's say, the 4th guy on our board, and they fell to 12, and the other guys we have are like 8, 9, 10, then I can explain that to the public and say, yeah, like you
Yeah.
said, we can reshuffle this thing. I personally don't love Guyton playing or at right just because of his physical profile, but I also don't want them to pass on a guy who would be so far ahead on their board of the other guys
Yeah.
just because of need, and then you look back at the draft and you're like, how the hell did you pick that guy over that guy?
Well,
That's how those
there's a
conversations start happening.
the problem with the Cowboys is you're absolutely right that they should take best available, but we know they're not going to do that. Like that's the problem.
Well, we're
So if
gonna
you're
do
asking
a
me what I
amalgamation of
want, if I
things.
was the GM, if Jimmy Johnson was the GM again, I would be 100% in agreement with you. But what I'm telling you is that when in 2023 when we're sitting there and we're saying, "Oh, Nolan Smith, this is it," right? Or we're saying, "Oh, we maybe a tight end here. We got some good tight ends here." We take Mozzie Smith and we pick another Michigan player and we never learn our lesson. So, the thing that worries me about the wide receivers that will be available at 12 to us that are plug and play or left tackles that are plug and play, what's up Jerry's sleeve to say, here's a player you've never heard of that's probably got a second round grade? And that's what scares me. And I hope that we don't do that on a top 15 pick, but we'll see.
But they haven't done that at this high in the draft.
Correct. I agree.
They've done that at the back end of the first round. They'll do that BS
Do it a
because you
lot.
think about it, the last time we were here, we trade. So it's Will Campbell. We traded back and got Micah.
Yep.
Remember, it was and when you
Which
look
I
back
love
at
that,
that
by the way.
draft,
I
yeah,
love
but and when you look back at that draft, they couldn't have got it wrong. All the
Yep.
everybody there that went at those picks are all pro guys.
Yeah.
Rashawn Slater's an all pro guy. Mike is an all pro guy, and there was somebody else that was in the mix right there. So they traded back, got another pick, and they got
Yep.
Micah Parsons. That was the last
and,
time they
and, and
were
nobody and
this high.
nobody thought Mike was going to be what he became, right? Like even when you look at the tape, he was just a linebacker. It was just like, all right, cool, we got a
Well,
linebacker.
you just opened up Pandora's box by saying that, by the way,
I mean,
because
but
that wasn't the plan.
yeah, I know. I'm not giving them
They
credit to be
got
clear.
they
I'm not giving it.
stumbled
Yeah, that
into
was
that
that was the
by
defensive
accident.
coordinator that said, hey, you're really fast. Let's try this, and it just
Let's
worked.
try this, something
Yeah,
you've never done before.
absolutely.
and he ends up being better at that than the other stuff he's been doing his whole life. That's kind of weird.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Yeah, and now the poor guy doesn't know if he's an end or a linebacker anymore. I mean, I guess he's an end.
well, he wants to be an end. The money says if we're talking about the money, I'm an end.
Exactly.
Uh, let's see.
Yeah, that was a good pick there that they just made for the Patriots.
Common sense, right?
That guy is smooth at left tackle. He's smooth.
You're going with. I mean, and he came in when he was a freshman recruit. He was, I think, the top tackle in the class then. So he went wire to wire. Started as a true freshman. Uh, Both
He gets
LSU tackles started as a true freshman.
yeah,
Um,
he gets his hands on you.
yeah, now Will Campbell. I mean, he's a dog, no doubt about it. We've had conversations before about Will Campbell versus Kelvin Banks, both of them were true freshman starters. But
Yeah,
at this position, if you're New England, you're like, all right, who's Drake May's bodyguard? That's
yep.
that's that's what they're looking at. I mean, it makes too much sense. Now, if you're a New England fan, how mad are you about winning that last game? Joe, what did Joe because that you went down 4 spots
Yeah.
because of a meaning to beat the Bills in a meaningless game.
Yeah. All right, Cleveland. Is it going to be Shadur? Is it going to be?
The pick is in. I have no idea on this one. But then, like you
Um.
said, it's Cleveland.
Well, it's not Shadur. I'm pretty confident of that based on the
Everyone
swing.
wanted Patrick Surtain in 2021. Hell yeah, he's the best corner in the NFL now. Why didn't you want him, Austin?
Yeah.
He's right now the best
Yeah,
corner in the
not me
league.
though. Yeah, like what?
Not me.
Yeah.
JC Horn is also pretty good. I remember JC Horn was in the mix.
Yep.
JC Horn is also another great player. He just can't stay healthy. But when he's played football, he's been fantastic. But I wouldn't be out here broadcasting that you didn't want Patrick Surtain, brother.
We in the 2023 draft when we picked when we took Mozzie, we really wanted a corner there. Joey Porter Jr.
Yeah, we did want Joey Porter Jr. I think we both like Nolan Smith there too.
Nolan Smith. We kept saying, "Is there a medical issue?" He kept dropping, and then of course the Eagles took him.
And look what Nolan Smith in the Super Bowl did. Harassing Patrick Mahomes all game. Could have
Yeah,
used
imagine if
that.
him and Micah would have been together, right, instead of Mozzie. Yeah, and here we are needing an edge rusher again. Yeah, that would have been helpful. We did call getting a tight end in the second round. We nailed that one. We said, okay, well tomorrow's definitely going to be a tight end, and then sure enough, there was
We took
another Michigan player, two Michigan, the
some
worst
people got a
draft.
Pro Bowl. Some people got a Pro Bowler and Sam Laporta, and we
Yeah,
got Schoonmaker.
I don't care how good the Michigan player is. I just need the Cowboys to no longer draft Michigan players. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care if Travis Hunter plays for the Michigan Wolverines. Do not draft a Michigan player.
Damn, you're
He's gonna
that
tear
scarred.
it, dude. It's
You're
just
that
bad. It's
scarred.
that bad.
We got the thing
Taco,
is,
Mozzie, like
we're the only ones that draft the bad Michigan guys.
I know.
The other ones can play. They're not all bad.
I don't. Is it
Like
what is it? Is it the Big Ten? Like I don't know. Like I just can't. Like you think like if I get a running back from the Big Ten or if I get a defensive lineman from the Big Ten, like you have to be good, right? Like, but man, I don't know. It's crazy. We were even talking up Mozzie because we were like, well, it's Harbaugh, and Harbaugh
they
he
took
loves
Mason
defensive line.
Graham.
Well, there you go. There's the Michigan guy. So,
Speaking, hey, um,
which of course the Browns took him, but hey, he gets to go with Miles Garrett.
him and Miles Garrett. That's interesting.
Rick said I wanted anyone but Mozzie. I didn't even think Mozzie was a first round pick, so I didn't even talk about Mozzie because if you go back and watch our draft kind of show from 23 on this channel, we just all stared at the screen and said, "Huh?"
We Mozzie was not. I mean, I'm yeah. I'm,
You
let me
tried to
move.
talk me into it, to be fair, after we made the pick,
After,
but
after,
after
after,
we made the
after. I was.
you thought about it for a minute and you said, "Well, we can't stop the run. This is probably like all right. This is probably all right." But
It was
yeah.
like this pick stinks.
Little did we know that this guy was going to be literally the worst nose tackle in all of football. It's crazy.
Um, hold on, Rick.
You,
Rick, what's his face? What's his face on the Lions is a dog. He's from Michigan. If they had him, the defensive end, Hutch, he translated
yeah.
for every. See, we drafted Mozzie. The Lions got Hutch.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying?
I know that's
If
unlucky,
they
man.
had Hutch, maybe they go to the Super Bowl. Maybe
Yeah.
they don't get their ass whooped by Washington. Who knows? Like,
Yeah.
but he translated. Hutch
Yeah.
on the Lions looked just like Hutch did. Oh, I knew Trent was coming because I knew Trent was coming. I knew it. It was right on time. Once the
Right.
Michigan slander started happening, the Lions.
He's like,
Trent is a massive Lions fan here.
yeah. Here, click, 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 click. Yeah.
What Michigan players translated? Excuse me.
Well, I've got him exactly. Yeah. Hey, man, the Michigan Wolverines sell a lot of hopium for the NFL draft. Trust me. But
So
still waiting on their QB and their running back and.
he said, "What about Tom Brady,
Ugh.
Charles Woodson? Huh?
We're gonna go
Those are
back to the
Michigan
archive.
men."
Pull the archive file. By the way, I grew up rooting for Michigan Wolverines. Sweetest helmet in all of college football. I don't care what anybody says. A lot of
Oh, the
my friends
Wolverine
hated me
helmet
because they were
is.
like horns, 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 and I was just like, Michigan's gonna do it this year. I didn't care about college football when I was growing up, but yeah, I love Michigan. They had some dogs in the '90s.
So Cleveland goes Mason Graham. Now I will say this about Mason Graham: when they won the Natty, he was a dog.
Hmm. No,
He
I think
was
if you were
a
ever gonna right the
dog.
ship on Michigan players drafted in the NFL, he might be the one to right the ship. He's he's solid. I always like when
Yep.
they show tape on ESPN where the player is dominating an SEC school, right, and not dominating like a Sun Belt school on the tape. Like, show me where they're competing against NFL level talent and they're dominating them, and then I'll get excited. But like you see that with Mason Graham. You don't really see that a lot with Mozzie's tape.
Now the Raiders.
It's got to be Genty, man. That's what I think.
I don't think Genty. If he, I think it will be Genty here. If not, he's not getting past Ben Johnson.
I swear to God, if Genty falls to 12 and we pass on him, I'll never forgive this organization.
You will see. Hey, this that we will go viral if that happens. He said Wink Martindale had. Yeah, yeah. Well, there you go, Jim.
Yeah, well,
Wink Martindale had Mason Graham play a defensive end.
yeah.
Does Carolina take a QB? No, no. They like what
No.
they got out of Bryce at
Second
the
half
end
of
of
the
last year.
season, yeah, they
He
started.
looked he looked a lot better. But I'm gonna let you talk about Ashton Genty real quick. But I do want to address my buddy Will is going to be watching this stream. If you're out there, Will, shout out to you. Will is a big Carolina fan. He told me, Steve, before your stream, I want Jalen Walker from Georgia edge.
Mhm.
So just putting that out there. Good vibes for Will. They had Mason Graham mocked to Carolina. He is now off the board. So Jalen Walker could be in play for the Carolina Panthers, or the other Georgia edge, Michael Williams, also could be in play. Both of the Georgia edges, look out either one of them potentially at pick 8 for Carolina, but that one's for you, Will. Yeah, but Ashton Genty, go ahead,
I mean, I
Jim.
obviously, I this is a great pick. I mean, the Raiders are one of those organizations that
Pete
just
Carroll.
make terrible picks in the history in the last 20 years, right? Um, this one's a no brainer. You got Gino there. You got your favorite tight end there at the Raiders, so he gets a second weapon, a real weapon. And the thing about Genty is he can catch the ball out of the backfield. I think his if he has a weakness, it's going to be the fact that um, I'm not sure about his like third down blocking stuff like that. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But in terms of just his patience at the line of scrimmage and waiting for the hole to open and then just exploding, that's the part of him that made in my mind him NFL ready, because so many college running backs hit a gaping hole because they have an amazing offensive line, but not every running back shows that patience to let it develop and then just take it to another level and then just make you miss. So I mean, yeah, this is a solid pick. This is going to be an upgrade from Josh Jacobs, who really killed it at the Raiders. So we'll see what Pete can do with him.
Well, they missed Josh Jacobs last year when he went
Yep.
to Green Bay,
Yep.
right? And so then they had people like the who oh boy Zamir White out there taking carries.
Yeah.
They didn't. They had probably one of the weakest running back rooms in the entire NFL. So this makes a lot of sense. Like
Yeah.
you said, Pete Carroll, Geno Smith. They're looking for their Marshawn Lynch type. I mean, that's what they do. Um, Tom Brady being in
Yep.
there in ownership, having involvement here with this as well. You know what they like. Having an NFL comp to Emmett Smith is
It's
shows you
crazy.
how special, the all-time
Yeah.
leading rusher, right? But you talked about weaknesses. I I I don't think pass blocking is a weakness of his. I actually like the way he pass blocks. The Michael Myers stance is
Mhm.
misleading because
Yeah.
he never is out of position, even with the
Yep.
stance when he needs to go pick up a. Now he's not Travion Henderson.
Right.
If you want to see somebody pass block, go watch Travion Henderson. But he is good at it. I don't have any concern with him pass
Yeah.
blocking. Rick brought up the concern. He took a shit ton of carries at Boise
Yeah.
State.
Yeah.
He took 374 carries last year.
Yeah.
And he's 212, 215, 5'8". Like he's all, obviously his body fat is sub 5% probably. But the more data we do on these players over time of how many carries, and I feel like the Raiders are going to load his ass up with more carries. I don't think it's going to
Yeah.
be any type of timeshare. Like he's going to be a first round pick in fantasy type player, right? Like they're going to
Yeah.
go and give him 300 carries again next year. And I just wonder when you look at what the Lions have, right, Jim, with Jameer Gibbs and David Montgomery, where they split the work, but they keep them fresh. Now Genty said, I'm another Saquon Barkley. I'm a bell cow, all that. But I do wonder about the amount of work he had in college. It was a
But I mean,
lot of
Saquon got
carries.
hurt too. So I mean, that's not
Uh,
that's
I
not
mean,
the
I'm not
that's
laughing
not
at him
that's
getting
not
hurt,
no
but
concern.
to add to the
Yeah.
point,
Yeah. No. I mean, you're right. I mean, the NFL is more physical on you, obviously, but I think the number one thing about Emmitt Smith is he was so good at avoiding contact. Um, and the one thing about Genty is that he's not like Zeke, where he was like trying to show you he could run you over. Uh, you know, Even though he had the ability to just run past you, he like seeked contact, and Genty doesn't really seek contact. The other thing to remember is that he's just a junior, right? So he hasn't played 4 years. And when he played in his first season at Boise, he only had like 150 carries. So, and in his sophomore season, he only had like a little over 200. So, yeah, I mean, it's this year specifically where he got ran into the dirt. So, but it's just 1 year at college. So, I'm not too concerned with that. The question becomes utilization in the NFL. You know, does Pete Carroll go down there and Marshawn Lynch him and run him downhill nonstop? We'll see. But they very well could use him like Atlanta used Bijan, where they kind of slow roll him. You know, so it'll be interesting to see how they use it.
It will be. The only other thing I have with Genty, because everything else is 10 out of 10, even the explosiveness, open field, uh, cutback ability. I think he has amazing cut. Like it's not just contact
Yeah.
balance. His contact balance is what makes him like generational because
Right.
it's like how is he still standing? Like his center of gravity. But I again, he is small. He's not a big
Right.
guy. As Jacob Wood, you just pointed that out. I mean, you can see it with your own
Hmm.
eyes. The other thing is with Genty, and I noticed this in the Penn State game, and I had noticed this in another, I think it was the UNLV game.
Yeah.
He can do too much and fumble. That is a thing.
Mhm. Yeah.
And the Penn State game, he was trying to do that whole running through everybody, and they ripped the ball out of his hand. And that happened, I believe, in the So he doesn't have a high fumble percentage relative to the amount of carries he takes. To
Yeah.
me, the fumbles come when he's trying to be Superman. And
Yeah.
I think as long as he has a measured temperament in the league of like, not every run's going to be a highlight run. Like I
Sure.
need to know when to go down. I think you don't have to worry about ball security. But that will
Yeah.
be a thing that guys in the NFL are going to try to test, knowing who he is coming in, especially being such a high profile pick as a running back.
Yeah. I mean, like the only thing that irritated me about some of the NFL draft talk was, oh well, he didn't play anybody because he's in the Mountain West, but like he tore up Oregon. I mean, 3 tutties, like 200 yards, like he destroyed
Yeah,
Oregon.
the I mean, even Penn State. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, he still went for over. I mean, still went for over 100 yards. He had big runs
Yeah.
in that game. That at that time, the narrative should have already been dispelled by playoff time.
Yeah.
Also, we're drafting backs from all over the place
Yep.
that we like that are also from small schools,
Right.
right? So that narrative to me, you know, Oregon's defense wasn't, which we found out later in the year, but
Yeah.
I'm
Skill
not.
skill
That's not
position
a concern
players.
for me. When you
Skill
watch the
position
tape,
players. Yeah, if we're talking about tackles and defensive tackles stuff like that, fine. But like if we're talking about skill position players, like that's really overblown. I think. All right, we got Mimbo in. You got that one?
yeah, I'm putting that down. So Armand Membo out of Missouri, uh, who this pick, Daniel Jeremiah, I got to give him credit. He nailed this pick because he said, "Look, they went and got Olu Fashanu from Penn State last year to play left tackle.
Hmm.
Now they need to go get their mauler at right tackle to
Yep.
complete their offensive line." And it's going to be really interesting for Justin Fields. I think that's why now Brees Hall's tweet makes a lot of sense today because Brees Hall said he was just so happy. But
Hmm.
because of the trade and because of the Browns moving up everybody to go get Mason Graham,
Yep.
Kelvin Banks is now falling. Now that is now something to pay attention to, right?
You read my mind because I'm looking at best available right now, and I mean I think Jalen Walker here makes sense at Carolina. We'll see if that happens. But then next best available on ESPN would be your boy Tyler Warren. So um, we'll see how that plays out.
Let me put Membo's name up here. Now, Dale Jeremiah has Tyler Warren going to the Bears. Basically,
Hmm.
Ben Johnson gets his Sam Laporta for like if he's thinking Ben Johnson's just going to try to rebuild everything he did
All right.
the same skill set on the Lions, right? So
Yeah, that's fair.
now that Genty's off the board, go get Caleb Williams. Him if he has Tyler Warren and Cole Kmet with all the money they just spent on the offensive line, that's nasty. Also,
Hmm.
Tyler Warren just fits to me on the Bears. He's gonna be the guy that doesn't wear long sleeves like they were talking about. He's just playing in 20-degree weather, running over people. I could
Yeah,
totally see him being
yeah,
a typical Chicago Bears tight end. That makes sense to me.
yeah.
Um,
They need some grit back in that team, man.
that's my thing. They need grit, and I think Tyler Warren gives them that offensively. Like that's what the
Hmm.
Bears feel like to me.
For sure.
Um, Mimbo is interesting because there's times I look at him, I'm like, damn, that guy looks like Larry Allen. like, like at times, I'm not like.
does he have a dip in when you think that, or that's what I think of when I think of Larry Allen. I think he's like literally dominating people with this huge chew in his mouth. It's
I don't
amazing.
know if it's because he ran a sub 540 or what, but
Yeah, I'm
because
not
you
sure either.
actually see it on tape when he's pulling. He looks fast as hell. It's kind of scary.
By the way, there was a comment about Oregon's defense not being great. They were top 15 last year, so they're pretty good defense. Um, but it is the Mountain West, whatever. Outside of a few games, but again, still skill position players. You don't mess with Barry's record, and you're a has been or an overrated player. So I think he'll be fine.
I mean, Boise State has sent how many people to the NFL over the last
They got a good track record. Yeah,
15 years? What are we talking about? Did DeMarcus Lawrence go to Boise State? Like
yeah. And
what?
Leighton Vander Esch.
They've even sent running backs to the league. The muscle hamster came from Boise State.
Hmm.
For the
Yep.
y'all remember Doug Martin used to get active. Doug Martin used to get active on Tampa Bay. He was a Boise State running back.
Yeah.
They've been sending people to the league. That's the other thing. Like even if you're a small school, if your programs can like we don't question people going from North Dakota State. Even
Exactly.
after Trey Lance bum ass.
Oh,
The one guy, Gray Zabel or whatever they talk his name is, the guy that can play all five offensive line positions. He's North Dakota State. They talking about San Francisco might take him at
if
11.
if it's a Division 1 football player, we got to stop. Like these people act like the G5 is just wild trash. But I mean, like again, Cam Ward was an FCS player. Cam Scattaboo was an FCS player.
Shador was S.
How how
Travis
many
Hunter.
how many people in the chat want Cam Scattaboo? Because he was from Sacramento State. So I would be totally fine with him going to the Cowboys for the record. So just want to put that out there. If we're gonna wait on running back, I would love to grab
Who
him.
was the corner for Dallas? No, Byron Jones.
Byron Jones, yeah,
Yeah, he was pretty good.
he
He
got a
ended up
payday with the Dolphins.
and fell off the cliff.
He did fall off the cliff.
He is out of football. He's out
Yeah.
of football. By the way, we got 170 in here watching across YouTube and X. I think we got like 150 people over watching on X. So make sure you hit the like button, share it, the whole bit, continue to comment. Let me go check the X comments. But appreciate you guys tuning in, showing
So
love to the
currently, where
channel.
we're sitting, Steve, do you still feel like Tet at 12? You still feeling good about that, or are you getting a little excited about somebody else
Nope, I
in there?
don't feel good about that because Carolina just picked him.
Oh no! Are you kidding me?
They went and
Oh
got a
my
power forward
God!
for Bryce Young.
Well, now it's Golden.
That's
Now
nasty
Golden's our
work
guy.
considering they gave us Mingo too.
Oh, that is nasty work. I
They
didn't even
gave
think
us
about
they
that.
that's nasty work.
That is
Oh
nasty
damn.
work.
Damn, Jim. I felt I felt
That
I felt the dejection here in Dallas. I'm here in
Jeez.
Dallas, brother. I don't even want to put
We
it on the
play
board.
Carolina next season, don't we?
No,
I
we
think we
played, do we?
do.
Do we?
I don't know about the look.
Well, Matthew Golden, Emeka
Oh,
Buka,
see, and so hold on. Let's talk about that real quick because
or Kelvin Banks.
I like Abuka way more than Golden personally, and I'll tell you why. Because dude gets nasty in the trenches. Dude blocks. He runs clean routes. He's an everything dude. So if you're asking me if I want Golden or Amika, dude, I'm all on. I'll be curious to see what happens here with that because,
The other thing with
or can you get him later? That's the other question to this. Can I trade
yeah,
down and and maybe get another pick and get him and a guard or something? Like
Jim in here pissing off my Texas people over here
I
because
don't. I mean,
they
listen, I love Golden, but like you got to look at the holes. You need value, and like to me, like I'm gonna really piss off everybody in this chat now because like to me, like his comp is not much different than Brandon Cooks. I understand Brandon Cooks is older and he's a has been at this point in his career, but like his to your point earlier about the complementary to CD, he's not that different than Brandon Cooks. So I'm looking for something that's going to just completely pull the defense away from CD, and I don't know. Everybody's going to get mad. I understand.
they they get mad, dog.
It's fine.
They
I'm
ain't
not going
trying
to
to
not.
hear that
I'm not going to be
right
mad about Golden.
now.
I'm not going to be mad. But I'm telling you,
I
if
knew
the
a
team,
crash out was gonna happen if Tet went before we picked.
listen, if
Because the
if
Tet thing, people would have been fine with it, Jim.
yeah,
If we had traded up and gotten Tet, but now that it's because here's the thing: as a Texas fan and seeing what Matthew Golden did for my football team, hell yeah, I want him.
yeah,
But Emeka Ibuka also, we got. If I'm being totally objective about this,
yeah,
Ohio State receivers don't miss, bro. And these dudes have been trained by the GOAT, Brian Hartline, as well. Brian Hartline adds, and we
and
have ties with our
and Amika,
current receiving staff
Has
to Ibuka as well.
yes, correct, and Amika has been just second fiddle to a lot of great receivers at Ohio State.
That's all he's been doing.
So
That's
that's
not
what I
very
mean.
fanatic of you,
Now you're
Mr.
gonna
Perspective.
no, but here's my point. Like, so you draft him to a team, and he's not trying to be the one against CD. He's not trying to be the alpha. He's not going to complain about touches. He's just going to do the work. You know, I don't know. I love that pick if that's what it is, but I'm
but I
not going to
will.
be
But
mad about Golden either.
I have them
And
both
by
in the
the way,
same
we
tier.
do play the Carolina Panthers next season
We
in
do.
Carolina. We do.
Oh yeah, guys, I gotta write down Tet's name. I'm
Ugh,
sorry.
that's
Sorry, Jim.
disappointing. First disappointment of the night. There's more to come. Don't worry. I know there is.
So I will say this with Matthew Golden, where I realized he was a dog was the Ohio State game, the Cotton Bowl. He got injured. I in my life, because I was there front row. I've never paid that much money to go to a football game in my life.
Yeah,
That kid, I've never seen a human being work as hard as Matthew Golden did to get back in that football game.
yeah, that's
That
fair.
meant that mattered to me, and he was doing everything in his, and he did get back in the football game, and he made a catch in the fourth quarter to help us in that drive where we ultimately came up short. But I know, and I will say this about Matthew Golden, because where we sat, our seats with Tran are only a section over from his family,
Yeah,
and I've seen a lot with his family the last year, just him being at Texas. He's all business. Look, we love all our Texas boys, but Jaden Blue and Isaiah Bond, they were talking that ish about them running faster than Worthy at the combine and all this type of stuff. And you know who was never talking? It was Golden. He was
yeah.
just working. They were talking and he was working. And I'm
Look,
not
look,
trying to
I
disrespect my
no,
guys,
but
but
I'm
he's a
not gonna
dog.
be mad. I want to be clear. I'm not gonna be mad if Golden's a pick. I mean, it's not a bad pick. I'm not. I don't think he's an overrated player or
Yeah,
nothing like
your
that.
preference is a Mecca. That's all you're
It's
saying.
just it's just preference. Yeah,
Yeah. You're choosing between. That's why I'm saying they're all now. If they do something
they're all similar.
off the cuff, then we got a
Yeah.
different conversation.
We're talking about a run first offense that we're supposedly gonna have, and I just love the way he blocks on the edge.
Kelvin Banks to the Saints.
That's a good pick for Kellen.
Kellen Moore gets his franchise left tackle. Kelvin Banks Jr., who is also from Houston, Texas, very close, staying very close to home to New Orleans. I'm super happy for him. By the way, anybody that knows his story with his mother, what they've
Mhm.
been through over the last few years with the treatment. I actually saw his mom on the cart before a game last season. Just incredible family. Pops interacts with us on Twitter, Kelvin Banks Sr. So our first Texas Longhorn off the board, folks, Kelvin Banks Jr., who came in here day one, A1, as a true freshman and held it down against Will Anderson and Dallas Turner when we had to play Bama.
Yeah.
And he did
Yep.
it all 3 years, protecting Quinn Ewers, being a menace in the run game, outstanding in the screen game. His footwork has always been phenomenal. I think Sark was right about teams overthinking it. And Sark stood on business. He was like, Kelvin's going to the top 10. I don't, some of these mocks that have him sliding to 20s and all this type of stuff. He's like, this kid came in as a 5-star freshman and started and played like a 5-star from day one to the end of his career and was
Yeah.
consistent. He was consistent, um, and set the tone for our program. So, Jim, this is where I get a little emotional because these are my guys going off the
No,
board,
no,
and I'm
yeah,
watching him.
his story is awesome.
It's
Yeah,
awesome, man.
yeah, and you like to see those kinds of kids win. That's good stuff.
Gets top 10, man, and it's good for our program.
Yep,
Texas getting
yep,
another top 10 pick here, so especially on the
yep.
offensive line.
Easy recruiting tool.
Chat fired up. Chat's fired up. Banks, go get your Banks Saints jerseys, Texas fans. Support the brother. Now I got to write his name down because I've been struggling to write Tet's name in here. Um,
You should never be mad about a plug and play left tackle.
that is so freaking valuable
Yep,
to like everything you need in the NFL. It's not even funny.
it's probably the second most important position to the quarterback, in my opinion. I mean, it's
Between
especially for the
that,
common.
if you're on offense, I would say it's the second most important position. I think arguably between edge and corner, like they're
Yeah,
all in the same level of
in
importance, which
wheelhouse.
is
Yeah,
why they always get drafted higher than other positions.
yeah.
All right, so
Well, I'm gonna
Banks
grab me
is
another drink. I will be right back.
all right. Cool. So no, Blaylock. Justin Blaylock went in the second round. I don't think Justin Blaylock wasn't a first round pick, guys. What's his face from uh, my guy from Sam Cosmi should have been a first round pick, but he wasn't. But Kelvin Banks Jr. is our first. In terms of offensive line, you would have to go back to 2002, Mike Williams. Mike Williams was the last. Uh, Mike Williams was the last Texas offensive lineman to go in the first round. That was 23 years ago. The Bears are on the clock. Are up here picking now.
That was a perfect beer segue to a Texas player drafted for this channel.
Oh yes. Rest in peace to Steve McMichael,
Yeah.
former Texas Longhorn, uh, who passed away 2 days ago. He was a part of that '85 Bears defense. He's an NFL Hall of Famer, and um, died was battling ALS for the remainder of his life, which is very very sad. So somebody that was I meant to talk about Steve McMichael yesterday actually,
Hmm.
um, in the chat and when we found out the news. So he passed away yesterday, but former Texas Longhorn great, NFL Hall of Famer Steve McMichael, for an interior. Check this out. That you want to talk about people that were really about that life. Um, he had 96 and a half, I believe, career sacks. He almost had 100 sacks as an interior defensive tackle. Think about that. Okay.
That's crazy.
He was getting
Monster.
active. He
Mm.
almost had 100 he almost had 100 sacks for his career playing on the inside. Not as if that that those are Hall of Fame numbers for a defensive end, Jim.
Yeah,
He did
for
that on
sure.
the inside. That
Yeah,
tells
that's
you how
wild.
great he was.
Yeah.
Wow, Colston Loveland went
I was
to the
just about to ask
Bears.
you, how does that make you feel?
They evaluate. Hey, they have a different eval.
I know.
But
Well, I
here's
mean,
the
it's a
thing,
1A,
though.
1B, right?
It was a
1A,
one A
1B.
one B. Loveland's grade was like zero point 0.2 behind Tyler Warren. And the
Yeah.
thing is, there Loveland was a victim of some of the worst quarterback play known to man last year at Michigan.
Yeah.
When they had JJ, he was that man when they won the national championship. Um,
Yeah, and I mean, since he plays for the University of Michigan, it's good that they picked him and not us. So I don't want there to be any confusion when a tight end is on the board at 12.
I do
You know.
think though, I don't think I do think Tyler Warren now is probably is somebody will probably look to trade up. I think Sean Payton, because Sean Payton needs a tight end.
Here's my concern. The 49ers are about to get Jalen Walker, aren't they?
Why'd you say that?
So I just saw the big board and I said,
Don't
"Oh no."
you know? Not everything needs to be said though.
Ah, I know it's coming. And I'm not even looking at Twitter, so it's not that either. So if it does happen. That's not why I'm feeling that way. I
The
just
reason why I
it's
haven't
gonna
mentioned
happen.
Jalen
So
Walker's name, and some of the Texas fans already know this, he's arguably my favorite defensive player in the draft because he wrecked my football team twice. I watched him. Um,
now is that somebody that you would supersede anybody for at 12, especially since Tet's gone now? Linebacker's not a huge need,
if
but it's a need.
if we pick Jalen Walker,
Oh, I'm gonna be happy. I'm
I'd
not
be
saying. I'm asking
thrilled.
if
I
if you're picking, are you taking them because you have to?
I prefer Jalen Walker over Michael Williams, even though Michael Williams is probably when healthy that's the thing. Michael Williams wasn't even healthy last year.
Because the 49ers are trying to rebuild that linebacker room.
Either one though is a problem for us, bro.
I know.
If they pick Michael Williams, that's a problem. If they pick
Yeah,
Jalen Walker, that's a problem.
I'm okay with the edge more than I am Walker personally. I mean, it still sucks, but you know, I really think Jalen he's good, man.
Oh boy.
Man, you get if you can get Jalen
This
Walker at
is
12,
this goes back to my point though of if you're
that's
not going
okay.
to move up, because now the board doesn't look like how we talked about it right now. It does
And
not
I had
look.
a feeling this was going to happen. I did not expect Jalen Walker to fall in our lap, though. I
Mel
did not
Kiper's
expect that.
been what's Mel Kiper been saying? He said Calvin Banks didn't have a good year last year.
Okay, but okay, so
What?
all the mock drafts have Golden going to us, right? And that's the pick as far as the mocks say. But Jalen Walker's available. Like you have to be mad about passing on Jalen Walker for Golden, right?
I would pick Jalen Walker in that scenario, personally.
All our SEC people,
I'm
like
not mad though, but I would understand.
yeah,
I would understand it
yeah.
because our needs are so glaring right now that I'll put it this way: either player's a day one starter.
Yeah.
Either way, um, I'm not gonna be, but I'm not gonna like. Yeah, Jalen Walker's burned in Texas fans' memory.
That's what I'm saying. Like y'all
he,
know what I'm
he
talking
was
about.
throwing people around left and right, brother.
It's no disrespect to Golden, but like that dude's special, right? And like when you have the holes that we have, like okay, like if you look at our linebackers, right? Like everybody loves Overshown, but we don't know when he's going to be back. We don't know what he's going to look like when he's back. But if I can say Overshown is just like a an added butter piece, if you call it, right? Like it's not my one. He's just somebody I get to add to the mix.
You still have Maris Layfowl too.
I understand, and I like Lofel, but he's not quite there yet. But so I'm
True,
saying like if you can put those three together, that is a nasty linebacker room.
especially with Eberflus coaching.
Oh yes, yes.
He's the linebacker whisperer.
Oh man, I hope he
We
gets
gotta
to play the
factor in.
pick
We
here.
gotta factor in Eberflus as well.
This wide receiver draft is too deep. Like,
Is it though? I don't think it's a deep receiver draft. I gotta disagree there. I don't.
okay, how many players do you think is a surefire starter number two? Like just out of the list, I'd say like arguably there's 15 or 20
At what position? At
at wide
receiver?
receiver. Yeah, there's
Surefire starter
two.
number two.
Yeah,
Like for what we need. Okay, I'm gonna put it this way: for what we need
I'm not
right
talking
now.
about ones that like
No,
we
I'm
just
talking
get.
about would start opposite of CeeDee Lamb
Yeah,
and like over uh what we currently have on the roster right now. It would be Emeka, Golden, Tet. I would say Luther Burden, even though I'm not high on that.
yeah.
Then you're getting into like Jalen Noel, Jaden Higgins
Higgins. I mean,
territory.
he's number two on the current
I
available list.
I like I like Higgins, but that's already like that. After to me, after that, all those guys have serious flaws to me that would need time if
What
they
about Isaiah
become.
Bond?
I mean, what's his legal situation right now? I mean,
That's fair. That's fair. I just wanted y'all's take, considering it's y'all's player. But it's like
uh,
there's dudes out there. Yeah, I like Jalen Noel. I like a lot. I like Luther. I think Luther Burden could fall pretty far. I wouldn't be mad about him. And I mean,
49ers
maybe
got this this uh soldier out here this Marine picking from Japan. Thank you for your service, brother. This is gonna tell us a lot, Jim.
yeah, this is going to be an interesting pick. This is going to be a very interesting pick. All right, here we go. I know y'all are probably ahead of us. Yeah, Luther Burden in the second round, I think is possible, right? Like, I really believe we could get him in the second to the
I think
chat
you'd have
there.
to trade up. I think you'd
I
have
mean,
to
but we
trade.
can. We have so many fives and sevens. Like, we could
Trey
definitely.
Harris is good, but is he a starter day one? I don't think so. Trey Harris is good. I'm saying these are people that are not like we need somebody that's going to start week one, brother. That's
Right,
what I'm saying.
right. We don't need another project. I understand.
Michael
Oh,
Williams.
it's Williams. There you go. So here
Yeah.
we go. He's in our lap. This is a predicament.
So let's talk through this.
This is where we
They
picked
they
Edge
they
or Marshall.
they got a goon. They got a goon, but Michael's been banged up. If and now if when he's healthy, um, they got an elite. They Michael Williams probably goes top five if he's healthy. Honestly, if he was healthy all year, really healthy, they got a goon. Um, let me put him in on the banner, y'all.
Oh boy, the Twitter is talking already.
Are y'all trading? Are we
No,
picking?
we're
What are we
not
doing?
trading. We're picking, but it ain't nobody we're talking about. Yeah, like I said, dude. I mean, it never fails. I'm just trying to verify that this is true now. Y'all will have an opinion about him. I'll tell you that much. That's all I'm gonna say.
Jerry.
Man.
What they gonna go up there and take Tyler Booker? What are we? What are we?
Yep.
What?
Yep.
What? I'm not even looking at it. I'm not looking at it. I just threw out Tyler Booker because
I'm dead
of what
serious.
Jane Slater had tweeted earlier today
Yeah.
about them liking Tyler Booker.
Yeah.
What's crazy, Jim? Did you not hear me at the beginning talk about Tyler Booker
Yeah.
for the Texans?
Yeah.
Wow, we're y'all.
Well,
Uh,
okay. So back to what you just said.
Jane
Now,
Slater tweeted Booker, and then
yes,
everybody got pissed off
yes,
this morning.
it's a reach first and foremost, which is exactly what I've been saying for 6 months. It's not about. It's never about best available for the Cowboys. The only time we've ever picked best available is when CeeDee Lamb fell in our lap.
Yeah, at 17.
Right.
That was a true best available pick.
Right. And honestly, I think the only reason we took him is because he was a Sooner, and you know how Jerry loves his Sooners. So,
Well, here's the pick.
man, hope I'm wrong. So predictable. We better be trading back into the first. That's all I gotta say.
Well, look.
I'm not. I mean, he's a good
Isn't
player.
this
Like, you
2023
can't get
all
mad.
over
You
again,
can't. I
Jim?
know. I know. That's
I'm
what I'm
now
saying.
about
Like,
to talk you off the ledge. Hey, well, we got a starter at guard.
we're
We're
gonna
gonna
we're
replace
gonna
Zach
visit this.
Martin.
Yeah, we're gonna revisit this in 2 years and go. Well,
I don't have a
I mean,
problem with Tyler.
Look, he's an Alabama kid. He's a good guard. It's fine. He's not
Yo,
Michigan. He's not Michigan.
Homer's like,
Not
bro,
Mich-
we took a guard at 12, brother.
It's just
Y'all could have got some. My thing is, get some collateral and get him at 20 or 8, whatever.
we hate
So nobody
linebackers.
wanted Tyler Warren or Jalen
Or
Walker.
Jalen Walker.
Nobody wanted him to where you couldn't get some picks.
I wouldn't have even been mad if they picked Will Johnson here, Michigan guy. But
You, the guard was going to be there. Who's picking a guard after us?
he's not. He's the number 2 on ESPN's board. It's the North Dakota State guard that's first. This is a classic reach by the Cowboys. Now, I mean, they reach for Frederick, right? A while back,
They did,
and
and
it
I
worked.
was and Frederick. It worked,
Right,
but I till this day they could have got Travis Frederick in the second or third round.
100%. They don't have to
They
do that.
they they. I will never forget. ESPN didn't even have Travis Frederick's highlight tape ready to go
Correct,
when we picked him.
on the first round. Yeah, and
The point
that's with them
is,
having
we
like
could have
15
got
minutes
another
to think.
starter and trap. We could have got both.
And this is what I was talking about earlier. Like, if you're gonna do this, trade back. If you're gonna take him, trade back. He's still gonna be
They
there
should
10
have
depth
traded back
down.
after Tet went off the board.
Exactly, 100%.
Pay attention to how things are going.
That's why I say they better be trading back into this first round, or at least a high second, because that's
I
crazy.
Jenna James. I don't have a problem with the player. I
Right.
because Tyler Booker's name has been in play for months. I
Yeah.
don't have a problem with the player. All
But
I'm
he was our
saying,
second round pick.
all I'm saying is just go get him a little bit later, get some
Yep.
more, get some. We have so many holes, and you still, if you still want to pick him because you like him and that's the way your board looks. Now you're gonna have a hard time convincing me that Tyler Booker was ahead of Jalen Walker and ahead of Tyler Warren on your board and ahead of. You, you, look, you can look.
Can
You
we
can
can we
lie to
talk
yourself. Don't
can,
lie to me. Okay.
can we can we talk about the fact that we just added another Tyler to the offensive line?
Tyler Guyton, Tyler Smith, Tyler Booker.
I mean,
He's gonna start. The other thing too is that, and I hate to say this, but like Brock Hoffman and the other guy, Tyler, was it Bass, TJ Bass, and the other guy, like they weren't trash at
no,
guard.
no, they weren't.
Like they were.
Brock
I felt
Hoffman was
like
pretty serviceable. TJ
they
Bass.
were.
Hey, where's Rick at? Is Rick still in here?
Them
Rick
dudes.
loves some TJ Bass.
Them
If Rick's still
dudes.
in here.
We got to remember, like Zach Martin didn't play like almost half the season,
Hmm. They
so
did all right. It was
we
your
got
left
a
tackle,
lot.
which is your problem. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you take a tackle here, like, okay, fine, right? Like, I can live with that. But you took a guard. Like, what are we doing?
And I would still take. I don't. If you're taking Tyler Booker at 19,
You're doing a
I
lot of
I
processing right
can
now.
I can understand it if you're getting collateral back.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
That Jenna, I need to highlight Jenna's comment because that's what it is.
Yeah,
A smarter GM
yeah,
would have gotten the
100%.
same player
Yep,
plus more players
correct.
and leverage the situation. Leverage Jalen Walker being on the board right now. Leverage Tyler Warren being on the board right now. Sean Payton, I know you want a tight end. I know you want one of these dudes. One of y'all wants a Mecca. Leverage, make. I don't. We don't work the phones, brother. I'm not in the war room. I don't give a damn what the insiders say because everybody needs to. People owe Jane Slater an apology
Mm-hmm.
because they shitted all over her report this morning when she
Yep.
said Tyler. She said Tyler Booker was the pick, and everybody was like, "Ah, be quiet, you wench." And it was like, yo, she's tapped in.
She's on it. She's got the
She's tapped
connection.
into these idiots.
She knows what's up.
She's like,
I
no.
mean, think about it though. Think about it though. Like, if anybody was gonna have Jerry's ear, could it be a pretty blonde? Probably. Let's be real.
Yo, you had other media people shooting her down, saying, like on blogging the boys, and I got a lot of respect to blogging the boys. Connor Livesey, all those guys, RJ, they some of them even been on this channel before, and we work with them on Twitter and all that. But not one person, if I they all like it was like 15 different people on blogging the boys, not one person mocked Tyler Booker to the
Nobody.
Cowboys. It was
Nobody.
either Tet,
Or Golden.
Matthew Golden, and then Connor Emeka.
Hmm.
But they all had a pass catcher.
Now let me say one thing real quick. If we come out of this first 3 rounds with this guard, one of these wide receivers we're talking about,
See, Gaddis, you got to go to timeout off that one, brother. Immediate
and
timeout.
Marianne Hampton or something like that. But if that's our 3 picks when we come out of this, no matter how it shakes out, I'm good. Like, it sucks that we reached, but I'm good with it. But we relied too much on the board falling to us because we reached for players that we don't need to grab at that time. You know, like we need to do this in the correct order. Yes, the Cowboys need to be playing in Tyler, Texas. That's a A+ comment. Oh
It's
man.
crazy. I'm typing Tyler Booker, guard, pick 12.
I'm telling you, whatever you thought was a surefire pick, you can guarantee Jerry is not going to pick that player. It's
I,
almost like a mental disease for him.
I should have bet like $300 that Tet McMillan was not going to be a
He's
Cowboy
a
today.
pick,
It
100%.
was too. It was
Or
too.
gold. You could have took two of them and gotten the most odds because they were so guaranteed to be the pick, right? It's never going to happen
Well,
again.
now, like you said, do they trade? What do they do? You need to get the running, like, because now, or do you just take the best runner available at two? Like, do they just become a package deal with the guard? Right? Because here's the thing: Clayton Adams is your offensive coordinator, former offensive line coach with Arizona. So I've been saying, like, we are going to, and Brian Schottenheimer, his forte is supposed to be run game, allegedly. So they talk
Yeah.
about getting back to the run game. Now you get this right guard who's a mauler. We know what Tyler Booker is, right? And we know what the expectation will be for him in that role, just jump starting the run game. So do you just go all in behind him and get the running back next round too? Right? Like we're just gonna go all the way there. Oh, there's another Michigan player,
Kenneth
Jim.
Grant. Hey, better for the Dolphins. Good, great job. Yeah, I mean, like obviously, if you have a fantastic offensive line, that leads to success. I mean, we've proven that theory multiple times over. The problem with that theory right now is you still don't have a left tackle. Realistically, Awesome Richards is your left tackle.
It needs to be Guyton.
It needs to be Guyton, but they're betting a lot still on him, which is exactly why I said they wouldn't take a
Apparently,
left
they were
tackle.
waiting for calls. Brother, you don't wait for call. You should have been on the phone after the McMillan pick. If you're, this is how I know you're not working the phones. They should have known when the Jets picked that the Carolina Panthers are going to pick. If you're really working the phones, if you're really tapped in around the league, you should know what other teams are already about to do.
Yeah,
So you can start to anticipate, all right, these next three picks are going to happen. We're going to be stuck here. We don't really want these guys. We'll take the guard, but let's move back and see if we can get some. Let's see if we can get another third or a fourth or another pick for 2026. Something. You make me feel better.
yeah.
Nick V, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate the dollars you contributed here. That makes me feel a little bit better. Nick V's comment is Dallas is gonna have to have a 3-year rebuild anyway, with the lack of free agency moves and no run defense. Dallas still needs to be built. Thank God for Texas being relevant again, giving something good on the weekends. I
Yeah.
hear you. I hear you, my brother. I hear you. Um, man,
I am on record saying
man.
they are in a full rebuild. Nobody agrees with me. They like
Thank
I
you,
don't
Nick,
care
for
what
the
Jerry
donation.
says. You have a quarterback, you have a wide receiver, but they are in a full rebuild. You can't go win a playoff game with this roster.
Then I went in a playoff game in 2025, 2026 with this roster as currently built.
No, I mean if you do,
We have
it's like
one
going to be
corner, right?
it's gonna take an act of God, honestly, and it's just not gonna happen.
All right, I need to put Kenneth Grant in. See, Gaddis, what video with Jerry and Jamie Foxx? I must have missed that. I do need to have the donations. Tyler Warren falls right to the freaking Colts. They get their new Dallas Clark. This is craziness.
That's where he was mocked. Honestly,
Yeah,
that's
right.
where I saw him mocked too.
But I
So
thought
that's a smart pick.
what's his face was going to try to jump the Colts because the Colts. You know what's funny is the Colts told everybody we need a tight end. We're just going to wait for a tight end, and then it just happens.
Hmm.
We're like, we need a receiver, and anyway, he's he's a perfect fit for what they need. So good,
Right.
good for them. And he's already used to playing with mediocre quarterbacks. Um, Jenna said, "I call BS. Ain't no way they were waiting for calls. A pick like that you use all the time on the clock." Thank you. Don't turn the card in until it's 30 seconds left in. We were waiting
I
for
think
calls.
I think they're talking about the training camp video of Jerry saying questionable things with Jamie Foxx. It's resurfacing,
Oh,
but if you remember that, I don't talking about a player's size, if you will. I don't know if you remember that, but
uh, I think I'm a little hot right now. So,
you're like, I don't care.
JB, I needed this laugh. Thank you, my brother. Donations. I get you, Gaddis. You're out of timeout. The joke now the joke makes sense. I get you. You're out of timeout. Thank you. But JB, I get it now. Brother, I was lost. All I saw was 8 incher.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah, yeah,
Um, but we definitely need the donation soundbite. I'm a look. These donations will help upgrade the channel, so I start adding in sound effects and shit on the live chat because it is. We need to deal with the pain right now. Drew
yeah.
Aller's definitely catching strays. He's a bum. He's a, you heard me. He's a bum. Did you see the way they lost that playoff game in Notre Dame? He's a bum. People talking about he's the next Josh Allen. Nonsense.
Oh my god. So there's a video of Kelvin Banks Jr.'s baby throwing up while he was getting the call. It's pretty hilarious.
That's real life right there.
Yeah, that's amazing. They like put the
That
camera on him, and the baby's like, it's pretty good. Don't worry, guys. We still got Mingo.
Jonathan Mingo, baby.
Who
He's
needs
gonna be the
Ted
guy
when
that's
you
gonna
got
take the
Mingo?
top off the defense. He's our wide receiver too. It's
Mm,
time to believe in Mingo.
mm, mm, mm.
All right, we got 237 folks in here. Make sure you hit the like button. Appreciate you, Jim, for coming on and talking with us. We're having a good time tonight, so show us some love on all the socials. Show Jim some love. I tagged him on the X side. Many of you watching on X, enjoying the 2025 draft party. Unfortunately, the party is not going the way we thought, but we can only be so upset because we're Cowboys fans and we're used to this.
Yes. Speak
I
for
mean,
yourself. I expected this fully. I expected this 100%. I I think I said it. Once you rerun the tape, I think I said, clip it. 100%. Whatever you think the pick's going to be, it will not be that pick. And boy, was I right. That's crazy.
that's why it's like why even get so excited for certain players in the draft?
Jerry Jones sells the
Why?
hopium at every level. I mean, if you think about it, like he's gonna pick a dude you never saw coming, and then he's gonna get on the horn after this and tell you why they picked them, and you're like, you know what, maybe he's right. Maybe he knows more than we do. I mean, he used to play offensive line. He knows what he's talking about. And then you remember that he was probably like 200 pounds when he played offensive line, and then that was a long time ago.
That was before segregation was
Yeah, he's
over.
got the dementia is setting in or something. Something's going on there.
Jared was playing O line when they were when he was in Little Rock protesting against the blacks coming into the school. That's how old he is, man.
He
So I don't want
got
him
busted in the
making
photos. He got busted in the photos.
that guy in that picture is now running my team.
Mhm. Yep. Yeah.
Oh
You need
man.
somebody to tell
I
you how you
love
feel about that.
I love when I've just been in a chat and I look down at my phone and the first text message is from a buddy of mine saying, Kenneth Grant's girlfriend is not getting that second contract.
Mm.
I don't even know what happened.
Oh no. What happened? Uh,
Hey yo, the dementia.
it's a real thing. I'm in on it. Like the
I mean,
dementia
we
thing.
have family members that deal with this. The thing is, we typically remove them of their responsibilities.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious, brother. It's getting
Yeah.
sadder and sadder updating this draft tracker.
So
All right.
like, this is kind of deja vu too, because like in 23 we had Nolan Smith dropping to absurd areas of the draft board,
Mm-hmm.
and
And we
I
couldn't
swear to
figure it out.
God, if the Philadelphia Eagles get Jalen Walker, because they pick best available because they're smart
Every
organization,
time they always do.
they're like, we'll just pick every Georgia linebacker that ever existed, and we'll trade them if we don't want them. It's almost inevitable.
All right, got the tracker updated. So now it's the Falcons. Yeah, the Falcons. Why wouldn't they? They should take Jalen Walker. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, I honestly, Dale Jeremiah had Jalen Walker slipping to them. I would take. Watch the Falcons. I'm just gonna go ahead and shit on somebody else for a second to make me feel better. Watch the Falcons do some dumb shit and take some Shamar. They take some
Uh,
Shamar Stewart instead
yeah,
with his 4.5 sacks. Workout
yeah.
warrior,
That
baby.
honestly, it's funny you bring him up because he was the one I thought we would screw around and pick. But he was the one I was like, watch, we're gonna take Shimmer. No, I mean, it could be worse. It could be worse. I don't think I'm gonna be wrong about that prediction.
I think the Falcons might mess around and take Shamar. That's funny.
I hope they do.
Would they really just pass on Jet? If I, that's where I'm gonna start asking questions about what's up. One of
Yeah.
these teams also is going to take Malachi Starks from Georgia as well. Is this
Mm.
what party is this that they're showing on ESPN right now? Is this Green Bay? Or these people around? These people look like cops around a campfire. All of them look like police. Every single one of them.
Yeah. That has to be out in the tailgate area.
Oh, yeah, you got to have a special access to get there. Man, that crowd is insane, though.
What about any chance that the Falcons take Shadur?
No, they just drafted Penix.
Oh yeah, that's true. I forgot about Penix. Yeah, they're definitely. Well, I say they're definitely not, but then they paid Kirk Cousins and then drafted him. So, I mean, you want to talk about incredibly weird moves? That's one of them. So I don't want to say it's impossible, but it's definitely,
The whole league is funneling Jerry money to keep the Cowboys down.
dude. I wouldn't doubt it. We were talking about this. Cowboys are cash poor, man. They got assets. That's it.
They have exactly. They are asset rich but cash poor. Okay, they took Jalen Walker. They're not that
It
stupid.
wouldn't
They're not.
surprise me if they were funneling money. It just to
They're
be
not that
terrible.
stupid.
They're
The
like, trade your
Falcons.
fourth for Jonathan Mingo, and he's like, do it. All right.
This is a
That's a good pick.
good pick for Atlanta, and he
Talk
stays
about
home.
value pick. Value.
You mean, hey, value, best player available, all fits a need.
Yeah.
If you're a Falcons fan right now, you're very happy.
Mm-hmm. I'm
You
glad he's not in our division.
literally drafted a dog.
Yeah. He's not in
Um,
our division. That's all I care about.
Jenna Funny said, "Look like them fake cops from the latest season of Daredevil. The boys in the tent."
Yeah. Yeah, it did.
Oh man. Yep, here come the Texas fans validating the Jalen Walker pick. We gonna be on this highlight tape. I'm gonna tell y'all that. We gonna be on this highlight tape. But he's a beast. He's a beast. He's plays all over,
Drew.
lines up
It's
every
funny.
position.
My dad said Dallas would do this. Your dad's a smart man. He does not believe in the hopium.
Damn, they got Jalen Walker walking down Arch. Ooh, what
Mm.
Vic Beasley was supposed to be. You're right. Remember Vic Beasley? had that one like really good year and then fell
Hmm.
off of the face of the earth.
Yeah.
I know they showed that sack where he got a sack on Calvin Banks, but that was Quinn's fault. Yep, Drew's already said it. That was the one where Quinn walked right into that shit.
They're showing film of him cooking Banks right now.
That was he was, but it was Quinn should have already have been thrown that shit, man.
I
It
know.
was
Yeah, 100%. You gotta have that clock. But the fact that a linebacker is working you like that, that tells you a lot.
damn.
Because linebackers shouldn't be cooking left tackles. You know what I mean? Like that shouldn't happen. That's just a special player.
That was unfair, and we had to. Homer,
Why
you're
can't we
right, and
draft like?
we
Why
played him
can't we draft
twice.
Georgia players instead of Michigan players? Like, why do we love Michigan players? Why aren't we drafting
I
Georgia
don't know,
players?
bruh. They drafted Georgia boys and won a Super Bowl, bruh.
Yeah,
With some
they put the
Georgia
whole Georgia
boys
team
that
in
had
Philly.
won a natty.
Yeah, yeah,
They just winning.
yeah.
We see Georgia people, we don't even acknowledge. Now, to be fair, Michael Williams was off the board, but at this point, if Michael Williams was on the board, would they have still picked Tyler Booker?
Probably.
Yes. Not probably. Yes. They would
I
have
just
picked.
want.
They
I'm
would have
just.
still picked Tyler
I'm
Booker
hoping they're
if they both were
just.
on the board.
I'm
That's
just
what
living by
pisses
the
me
hope
off.
that they might have picked a good, the best available at that moment. But no, you're probably right. You're probably right. So ridiculous. So Jane Slater is defending the fact that they picked him. Just for I kind of went to her page to see her take her victory lap.
What's she saying?
She was just like, basically saying that a lot of people in the organization were saying about the saying it doesn't matter who our running back is when you have a line like that. And she just kind of picked up on the fact that they kept saying stuff like that. And then she said, okay, well, what's the number one guard or tackle that they like? And it was him. So,
And then
that's
that's when
kind of,
she decided to make her report. That's good reporting.
yeah, I mean, it's smart. Because Jerry will tell you what he's going to do if you pay attention. He's just going
People
to talk in a
got
bunch.
mad as hell this morning, Jim.
Hmm.
Like people crashed out when she said that.
Yep.
Uh
Yep.
oh.
Yep.
What was Micah's reaction?
That's a good question. Let me look. I mean,
Hmm.
let's see.
You know, the
All right,
more
there
Matthew
it is.
Golden
Oh, he's doing a
falls,
live stream right now. Let me see. Here we go. I'm looking right now.
but with Matthew Golden, if he let's I mean, I don't know, he may go to this pick with Arizona, but this is the part of the draft where some of these guys are gonna end up on really good teams now.
Okay, okay, okay. He literally did the exact same thing we did. Like, I mean, he went, oh, okay, hold on, because they're all laughing at him by that point. And it's like, hold on, before y'all try to. Yeah, he did the exact same thing we did. Like, good player, but why are we picking him here? Is the face he made.
I know what it's like when you stream all the time and you don't want to.
And he said he is a beast, and he's laughing while he's saying it. And because he is a beast, he is a beast.
What's funny is I haven't even seen it. And I know exact. Oh, they picked Walter Nolan. That's a curveball.
He said that he wanted to see a defensive beast instead of an offensive beast, is what he said,
Hmm.
which is fair.
He wouldn't
He
have
wants
said
some
that
help.
if they had drafted a receiver. He wouldn't have said that.
That's probably fair. Well, if it would have been Ted, yeah, or Golden, either one.
When you have a chance
Where's
to have,
Where's Golden gonna fall now? Because
hold
I
on,
mean,
what
if
it?
the Cowboys weren't gonna take him,
Well, Golden's going to fall to a good team. That's the point. That's the thing.
the Kansas City Chiefs.
When you have a chance to take Tolbert, Mingo, and Tolbert as your receivers, you absolutely have to do it.
Bengals on the
I
clock.
I can see Golden going to Seattle. That's a good call out. Chargers would
Tampa.
be Chargers. It sounds like the Chargers want to back, but
What about Tampa? Their WR
Tampa,
room is old.
Tampa's going to be in the mix for a receiver. All the mocks I've seen have Tampa going receiver. As a matter of fact, Daniel Jeremiah's mock has Tampa Matthew Golden going to Tampa.
What about Green Bay?
Has Green Bay ever picked a receiver in the first round? Ever?
No, but I'm just trying to think like in their room, like they could use a player like him.
They could, but I think they've gotten to the point where they like pride themselves on like historically never taking. Yeah, Jenna's. They never ever take
Yeah,
receiver. It's
yeah.
the weirdest thing. Like some of these teams that are just like standing on weird principles like that.
Where was
The
um
last receiver they took in the first round was Javon Walker from Florida State in like the early 2000s. That was the last time Green Bay took a
yeah,
receiver in the first round.
that's crazy.
He played with Favre.
The Rams is another team that could take him.
Yeah, could see the Rams. I could
Mm,
see the Rams.
what about the Bills? The Bills would be one of the three that you'd be like, what?
Bills are in play. They I think somebody had I think they have Luther Burden mocked there, so yeah, they would be in play.
Yeah, Golden with Baker would be crazy, and Mike Evans. Yeah, I agree. They get their Godwin replacement. How do you feel about Baker Mayfield considering he's a Sooner and all that?
I think he's a hell of a quarterback.
I think he gets a lot of disrespect. That's
I think he's a hell of a
unwarranted.
quarterback. My thing with Baker is like, yeah, it's I didn't like him in college. He was still a hell of a player, but at the NFL level, where I've gotten respect for him was I thought he was cooked. Like when he went to Carolina and then the Rams, but it was what showed you was he got better. He adapted to the coaching.
Yeah.
That's why Liam Cohen is now with Jacksonville, right?
Hmm.
Because they're trying to resurrect Trevor Lawrence. And even after Liam Cohen left, and all the things or the guy they had before that went to Carolina actually to go work with Bryce Young was the coach before,
Hmm.
tore it up with Baker. But the thing with Baker, though, is I like the fact that he's one of the guys. Like he takes his guys out.
Hmm.
You know, he's guys buy in just
Yeah.
from what I've heard, right? And
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. Out of all the teams he's played for, nobody's really like dogging him when he's on the way out. You know what I mean?
the other thing with Baker is again, like I'm never gonna be like, oh yeah, that's my preference. Like you said, I mean,
Hmm.
he's you can win with Baker. I think he's proven that. I think in the right situation, under the right circumstances, if the team around him is good enough, you can win with him. He was losing guys like all over the place this year, and they still figured out how to win the division. Now, part of that was Atlanta choking
Yeah.
and sticking with Kirk Cousins a little too long, but he figured out how to win that division. The other
Yeah.
thing with Baker is I'm big on real life stuff. And I had a friend who was in a wedding with him in Cabo. And they're just like, he's like a really normal, like you
Yeah.
wouldn't have thought he was an NFL quarterback, like
Right.
around.
Well, I've always just respected the fact that he's always been like kind of like demoted everywhere he went, and then rose to the top eventually.
Mhm.
So I always like the underdog story, as you know. So regardless of who he plays for and all that, like I think he is a cocky dude. I mean, that's the reason why people don't like him, to be fair. But like, if he didn't have the cockiness, like he'd probably be liked a lot more. But like, I think a part of the reason why he rises is because he is like that. He's confident in himself no matter what happens, and he doesn't give up.
I also gained my respect to your point when he failed. And
Right.
it's one thing if he was only cocky when and then he never got his confidence back.
Yeah.
But he got his confidence. Like he actually worked at it and didn't make excuses like that. I mean, he had some injury problems in Cleveland, and
Yeah.
they didn't necessarily make. They obviously didn't make the best decision trading him for Deshaun Watson, or moving not him directly, but you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
making the Deshaun Watson trade and moving off of him. But I like it goes back to the point I was making about Cam Ward at the beginning of this. Guys going through adversity. I
Hmm.
like my quarterbacks that have gone through some shit. I've
Yep.
liked my quarterbacks who've had to figure things out. Maybe you have gotten a bench a couple times. Joe Burrow is another one. He
Yep.
transferred, injured all the time at Ohio State,
Yep.
and went to LSU. He wasn't even a dog at LSU the first year. It was the second. It was all these things before he was Joe Burrow, right?
Right.
Like that's a common theme with quarterbacks, man. All right,
Yep.
Shamar Stewart is the Cincinnati Bengals. Speaking of Joe Burrow, interesting.
Yep.
Well, he goes to the AFC North.
And he's got peace on. That's a peace chain right there.
Mm-hmm. Look, the
That money green suit.
what's up, Tucker? Hopefully, Walter Nolan can be better than Robert Kimdichie. That yeah, man. I remember when they picked Kimdichie. I thought he was going to be a dog at Arizona. He didn't do shit. Um, Walter Nolan's more consistent. Yeah, Shamar Stewart. Look, the workouts. He's gonna look. He's the first guy off the bus.
Yeah.
But can he play? Can he play? Like, I'll be honest. Like, as a Texas fan, I don't remember Cuz like that, bro. I'm sorry. I don't remember Cuz getting active like that. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But in our game, I don't remember hearing his name being called.
You have a very good memory, sir, and I don't think you're wrong.
I'm just saying, bro.
Yeah.
You see the way we talk about Jayla Walker and Michael Williams. Like we
Yeah.
can tell you the plays that they were going crazy, right? I, I'm just saying in our game when we went to College Station, I I don't remember him popping off tape like that. I wasn't
uh,
out here like, oh my God, where's Shamar? Where's Shamar
oh,
Stewart?
poor Ag. Poor Ag. Yeah.
I know I'm pissing somebody off right now. Somebody
Oh
out here
man.
watching that's a one of my A&M hate
Wait,
watchers.
where's Arrington at? He's signing off as we speak. He's
I
mad.
I'm just saying when,
Yeah.
when our running back was running for damn near 200 yards in that game, I don't remember Cuz getting active. I'm sorry.
Mozzie Smith's cousin.
When Quinn was wearing the RoboCop knee brace and ankle
Mm,
brace, Quinn had the T1000 drain on and was running down the sideline. I don't remember.
yeah.
I'm like, damn, they letting Quinn step off on him. That's crazy. That's that's crazy. All right.
They should do college football like the Premier League, where like if you ain't cutting it, you got to go down a step and rebuild back up.
I've said that in so many different sports, dude. That is
Imagine if
like
college football was like that. That'd be amazing. You can't just be a conference mate that just gets to say you're awesome and be a doormat for the conference. You got to move down.
relegation. There it is. Yeah.
You got to get out of here.
It's like Ted Lasso. They got relegated to they got kicked out the league.
Yeah.
Y'all
We got
suck.
Seattle.
All right, Texas A&M got their first round pick on the board. Seattle's up. This could be
Yeah.
a spot for a receiver. It's so funny watching the war room and like everybody is reacting so similarly. The
There's never
random
been a
dabs.
war room just pissed about their decision with themselves. You know, I mean, like they're
My
always like, "Got him."
my favorite war room moment is the one with Minnesota and Philly when they took Jalen Rager and the
Mhm.
Minnesota people just started laughing
Yeah.
and they're like, did we just get
What
Justin Jefferson for
What about when the Atlanta pick with Penix and old man Burns walked into the war room and said, "What are we doing?" And he goes, "Chill out, it's cool." Like he's like, "I just paid $200 million for Kirk Cousins. What are you doing?"
Hey, Seattle just took a guard from North Dakota State.
Oh man, yeah, he was the number one guard. We went to number two because but North Dakota State, we don't like those guys, right? So watch this tape and see if you're still excited about your Alabama guard and you see this kid.
Oh, well, this guy plays everywhere on the line.
Well, that's a horrible problem to have. Like versatility, who wants that?
All right, we got to plug
Let's
in
see,
Grays.
yeah.
Calling Arthur Blank Mr. Burns is diabolical.
Oh, Brianna's in the chat. What do you want for dinner?
Oh, let me text her back. Sorry, babe.
She sent a super chat. Ask her to send her a super chat.
She said, what do you want for dinner? Yeah, you did say Mr. Burns walked into the room.
Seriously,
What do we do?
that's lit. Go back and watch the video. It is classic because they ESPN flashes it up. He walks in and he's clearly not happy. I mean, it's very much
What
upset.
are we doing? Hey, he's about to fire everybody in the room on the spot.
He's like, I've made a bad decision as hiring y'all.
Y'all think this is funny?
North Dakota. If that was ever a North Dakota room or South Dakota room, that was
I mean, you're allowed to pick people like that when you're in Seattle.
it. Yeah. All right. I think we got like, where we at? Like 12 more picks, I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, while it's on commercial break, let me see what we're gonna do for.
14 picks, maybe. Yeah. Tampa Bay right here for Golden is, I like that pick. Mm, let's see.
Damn, Antonio Brown said Travis Hunter the first player to be both ways in the league since Shannon Sharp. That's crazy.
Oh,
Mm, mm.
a lot of craziness on the internet this week. Kanye said some diabolical stuff this week. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go Google it.
I'm not covering it on here.
Exactly. Get shadow banned immediately. Oh no. I'm really intrigued by this Tampa pick because this could go a million different ways. I guess Tampa has like no pick insiders because nobody is tweeting about Tampa's pick at all. Like none. I swear, like Tampa Bay doesn't care about their sports teams like at all. It doesn't matter the sport. Like all of the teams are good, and all of the teams have zero fans. Tampa's empty. They're like in the playoffs. It's like an empty game. The Lightning are good. Pretty much an empty hockey arena, compared to others.
Beebo's bodyguard said the Rays.
Yeah, the Rays are. I mean, they're good. They're a good baseball team, and they just don't. They get no support. It's a dump of a stadium, but
Calling Shamar Stewart Aaron Curry is crazy. I'm just I'm just catching up on the chat. JB been out of pocket all night.
yeah.
He picked Abdul Carter and said bump everybody else. Um, yes, Travis Hunter is the only DB off the board so far. So Will
Yeah, Will
Johnson,
Johnson could go here. Yeah.
yeah, I do think we'll see Will Johnson, Jade Barron, Malachi Starks off the board, and maybe Thomas from Florida State, which is crazy that
Oh no! I said like I
anybody.
already saw the pick.
What'd you say?
I saw the pick already. I ripped it for myself.
All right, we'll see who's the pick is.
I'll give you a clue. It's not Shadur Sanders.
Yeah, the Shadur thing, it would be Pittsburgh. If it's not
I
Pittsburgh, then
yeah. Second
you could
round,
see a
huh?
fall.
Yeah. Yeah. Saying 21 to the Steelers. Did you? Somebody was saying in the chat earlier that the Texans tried to call us at 12. Forget who said it.
Yeah, I think it was Dimple Wonder that said that in the chat. I would hate it if Jade went to the Commanders. Not for Jade, but for us. Oh, they got a Mecca.
Yeah, I was
That's a good
disappointed.
pick. That's a good pick, bro. It fits. Doesn't it feel like it fits?
Same color
He's
scheme on the jersey, you know.
tough. He's going to play a lot of slot for them.
I bet
Um,
they were just tickled pink. He fell to them.
Mecca came in there too. People forget out of high school. He was a top 10 player out of high school. Came in there number one. I think he was the number one or number two receiver in the country when he came out. And
Yeah,
another guy that's, delivered and
he
done what
just
he was
puts his
supposed to
head
do.
down and works. That's why I like him.
And he comes from a room where all those guys are good NFL players.
Yep.
All of them. Olave, Garrett Wilson. Marvin Harrison was a little bit disappointing last year, but these Ohio State, Jackson Smith and Jigba blew up last year. I believe it is the first Ohio State player.
So
But
Brandon texted and said he's at work, but he is dumbfounded by our pick at 12, and he's like, I can't believe that they picked him. So yeah,
yes, he's a good Najee boy. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Next receiver, likely either Golden or Luther Burden. The other thing too with Emeka, he has a baseball background too.
Yeah.
So tracking, ball tracking, former outfielder. So it was a plus. They called. Yeah, Drew Yanez said that's what he saw. He said they called and couldn't get close to anything. Sounds
If
about
Bolden
right.
falls to 44, I'm all in on that pick.
Yeah, Daniel Jeremiah had Tyler Booker going 25th to Houston. He also had Kenneth Grant going 27th to Baltimore, and he went right after. He went to Miami.
Yeah.
So some shakeup. Still first rounders, but some shakeup.
I'm curious, like, how many first round grade players we had in this draft. You know what I mean? Like,
That's
real.
always what I want. Yeah, how many people had a first round? Because it's not always 32. There are some drafts, y'all, where there's been as low as 20 something. They only had 20 players with a first round grade. There's some drafts where some people on their board may have 35 players with a first round grade. So it's not
Yeah.
always an even 32. It's a good point.
So I mean, if you have a guy at like, you know 20, but you pick him at 15, I mean, like, if they're like on the same level.
Bevo's bodyguard. I see what you're seeing because Denver's using the whole clock. They're clearly on the phone with somebody.
Yeah. I mean, this is a moment to trade up and
This
get
is the
a
moment
quarterback.
to
But
trade up. Yeah.
who's the team though?
They're
Rams.
clearly on the phone with somebody.
I mean, what's a team that needs a quarterback? It's not a
It
lot.
could be somebody trading back in too. Could be
True.
Cleveland.
So like, immediately comes to mind would be the Rams, the Steelers. Of course, they're next, but they're probably getting jumped. A lot of young quarterbacks in the league already. The Colts maybe, but I don't. Are they out on Richardson? I don't think they are.
They just gave a little bit of money to Daniel Jones, but
Yeah,
that's such a nasty quarterback room.
yeah,
Um, but some of these teams, I think they're the type of team that'll wait for 2026 because it's supposed to be a very deep quarterback class.
yeah.
So I don't see them using a first round pick on, you know,
The Giants maybe could come back in.
Giants. I think the Giants could be moving back up. I think it could be the Browns with the collateral they got
Yeah,
to move
that's fair.
to
Yeah,
five,
they
right?
got they got some money to spend. Yeah,
They wouldn't even need to spend that much to move back into the first round. They, we'll see.
yeah.
That's if they were able to make a deal because it says the pick is in, but that's if they were able to make a deal. Will Johnson not running the 40 may have
Yeah,
cost him.
yeah,
I know he said he wanted to stand on tape, but a lot of people were suspicious of him being potentially slow. But he's a hell of a football player.
yeah.
Yeah, I wonder who the Broncos are going to take.
Uh, oh man, if Amarian Hampton goes here, I'm gonna be a little disappointed by that one too.
That'd be a good, yeah, that'd be
'Cause
a good pick. That's a
that's
starter.
a well, the Sean Payton, man, that's a Sean Payton pick right there. Hmm. Okay, it's not Amarian. I'm pretty sure it's not anyway. But that's a Sean Payton guy. Like, that would be a pick. It
Yeah,
would make sense.
why'd they show the camera angle of that miniature person with the child from that angle? That's
Yeah.
crazy. They knew what they were doing with that.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Like somebody in the control room was like, "Yeah, man, stay. That's the shot right there. Stay with that."
Steve, I just want you to know that something's working out perfectly here because as soon as my beer is gone, they pick a certain type of player. This works out nicely for me.
So is it Matthew Golden
Or
or Jade Barron? Jade
maybe
Barron. Jade Barron. All right.
now you got
Well,
something to talk about.
another yeah, we have another Texas moment here. So I
Yeah.
have my buddies. I'm gonna give them a shout out right now because shout out to Desano's Pizza, who's catering Jade Barron's draft party there in Austin. I'm trying to see if my homeboy's in the picture. He said he was going to be in. He said he was going to try to be in the picture, getting active. That was delivering the pizza. Um,
Show it.
what's cool with Jade too is he's from Austin, right? He's
Yeah.
homegrown,
There you go. Here it comes. A lot of people
unbelievable
there.
talent, best DB in the nation, Thorpe
That's a
Award
lot of
winner.
people at that party. That's crazy.
I like this for him because he's joining an already elite defense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
he's playing. They have him and Patrick Surtain. Full stop. They
Yeah.
were already nasty as hell last year. You have
Yep.
Nick Benito up front. Like,
Yep.
wow.
It's solid.
Excellent pick for situation for him. And he can play multiple positions, guys. He can play safety, he can play inside. And what he proved last year is that he can play field corner. And he's a
They
master
definitely
level
take.
communicator.
They definitely take best available at that organization.
Will Johnson refusing to run
Hmm.
costed him.
Yeah.
I understand it. Like it worked out for Ashton JT. He didn't run either. He said, "I'm standing on my tape."
Mm-hmm.
It worked out for the running back. It did not work out for the corner.
Yeah. No, didn't. Yeah, it depends on your position, right? Like if you're a corner, a wide receiver, or even a running back, if
We
you're not
need to
running
see you
people,
run. Sorry.
you need to run. Yeah. Like, and if you run bad, you do damage control after that and say, watch the tape. Like I can do better, or maybe do a little like side workout to prove that you can be faster. But you don't just not run. That's a bad move.
So does that mean Shador is a Steeler?
I mean, it would be stupid for them not to take him right here.
Is this man in Utah? Yo, they gotta tell his brother to wake up, man. You can't
If
be
they,
out and knocked out on the couch like that, man.
what if they take Jackson Dart over
Did
him
you
though?
see Jackson Dart's? Did you see
Yeah,
Jackson Dart's brother or whoever, whatever family member that was with the glasses?
yeah.
Just absolutely knocked out on the couch.
He's like, I'm bored.
Y'all got to give that man a heads up, man. But anyway, yeah, PJ Locke, Brandon Jones, um, man, Denver secondary is nasty, nasty.
Oh wow, they're not going to even take a quarterback. Sorry, I got to get off Twitter. I
Up, they're not. Yeah, get off Twitter, man.
got to get off of it.
Get off it. Well,
That's crazy though, because I thought for sure they were taking Jackson.
they go in another direction. So that means to me, the only other play at quarterback could be the Rams, maybe, but it would mean somebody else would have to trade in. Derek Harmon, defensive tackle, Oregon. Wow,
That's really surprising.
wow. He was supposed to go in the first round, but to go here,
It's Mike Tomlin right there.
now with the
Yeah,
old school Mighty Ducks jersey.
yeah. If I'm a Steeler fan, I'm upset about that. Sorry, like I know it's not a sexy pick, but it's a good pick. But quarterback play is kind of
I would just want to know what the plan is for the quarterback situation. Are
that's what I
we,
mean.
or unless they feel like they can move up later and get value and still get their home run D
Maybe
tackle.
they want like Quinn or somebody else that's lower graded.
That's true too.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Here's that Oregon defense.
Stop.
Yeah.
Leo Van Horn, he said, "Hey, look what the Ravens did to them in the playoffs. This was needed.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a
The
good point. I
value
mean,
wasn't
that's
worth."
definitely a
Yeah.
subject of the division for sure. I mean, that division is run downhill.
All right, I got some updating to do on our board or on our tracker. So, 19 was Emeka Akuba. Buka, Ohio State. So the other Ohio State tackle still on the board. And Denver took Jade Barron. And JB, I'm gonna answer your question here in a second because this is gonna be the if he is on the board tomorrow, this is all we're gonna be talking about all
Yeah.
day until the second round starts.
Yeah.
And then Pittsburgh just took Derek Harmon.
Yep.
DT Oregon.
So ESPN best available left is Will Johnson, followed by James Pierce Jr.
James Pierce Jr. coming into the season was supposed to be in the mix for number one pick.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that his mental eval that he is a crash out in real life. That's just what I heard. I heard the boy's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I heard he's a real life crash out. But I want to address JB's question
Mm-hmm.
because I think it is what the media heads, the talking heads, will be discussing tomorrow, which is why is Shador falling, right? Which was expected as of this week, considering Vegas when his draft slot went from eight. And Jim and I talked about this a couple hours ago. When his draft thing, the beginning of this week, it was 8.5. And then it went to 21.5 in the last couple days. Y'all, what happened? What happened? Right? So I personally think, and then you also coincides with that anonymous scout, which bothers me to a whole nother
Yeah,
thing.
I hate
Because
that. Yeah.
whether again, I'm not saying you got to be a Shador fan about this, that, or third, but like they're acting like Buddy has multiple DUIs,
Right.
has had run-ins with the police. Like
Right. Character
this,
flaws.
like this is somebody who has been around NFL culture his whole life. Now, if we want to go on the film, he has two big weaknesses. He is not an athlete. He's not a superior athlete. He's not. He gets by on his brain, his processing speed, and he has have good footwork, mechanics, all of that. But he's not his dad athletically at
Right.
all.
Yep.
He's got his mama's
Travis
hips.
is. Travis is.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is
Okay.
clear because he's like the son that adopted son.
And yeah, how he carries himself is what, right? Like to the media and to certain people, yeah, he comes off confident. He can be cocky. He can have all these things, but everyone that you've talked to that is actually around him on the day to day in the locker room, is he coachable? All of these type of things. I've heard nothing, especially considering his football IQ. You don't have high football IQ without being coachable.
Right.
Matt Rule came out this week and said that if he was the Giants at 3, he would have taken Shador.
Hmm.
And Matt Rule, coming from the NFL, knowing what it takes, all those type of things, that's somebody he didn't have to say that. What does Matt Rule get from that, right? And
Yeah.
so it kind of goes to like what's the media narrative and how he, because it is some of that, but I also believe JB. This is the thing I really want to get to. They do not want Deion Sanders ca- calling a spade with some of these organizations when they start to understand the inner workings of how some of these quarterbacks are being treated, because they're going to be able to smell whether or not you know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
He will push back against coaches that don't know what they're doing. That's the problem.
Yeah.
They're not like, they want people, exactly. There you go. They want the Prescotts, the staff, the people that are going to say yes. They do not want somebody in there that's like, wait a second, this is our cover two beater this week. Really? This this play is bullshit, right? Like that. He will be the guy that gets on the board and fight you.
Yeah.
Oh, and be like, this can't be our beater this week. We got to run XYZ. And I think it's going to take a coach that wants the best possible quarterback and the best, and is willing to be challenged as a coach, because we've seen the reason why I'm advocating like this for Shadur is this. To me, I saw that guy get hit in the mouth over and over and over and over again, beaten to a pulp, and he was still making throws on time with no problem. That's a different type of toughness. We were just talking about Baker Mayfield, and people like Baker Mayfield because he's a warrior, he's a dog, he's going to get hit over and over, and he's still going to stand in the pocket in the fourth quarter and not be a bitch when it's time to make a certain type of throw, and you got to hang in there. How many quarterbacks have we seen when the game is on the line and you got to hang in the pocket, and they either short arm it, throw it off their back foot, don't step into the throw. To me, that's a toughness you either have or you don't. And Shador has that. But what situation is going to tolerate what he brings to the table? We'll see. Anybody that falls though like this, because the good thing is he doesn't need the money, obviously. This could be the best thing that ever happens to him. Because this is how fires get ignited in certain type of players. It happened with Lamar Jackson, y'all. Where it's like, really? I'm falling behind all these people I was busting their ass in college. That's crazy. Like, we've seen it. We've seen it happen. Lamar. I remember the night Lamar was falling, and it was because a lot of these coaches didn't want to have to be uncomfortable coaching a different type of quarterback. And Shador's not even that. Shador is more of a traditional pro style quarterback.
Why are the Chargers taking so long to put their pick in? Finally
They were
did.
probably working the phones too.
Yeah.
We also have to remember Quinn was really,
Yeah,
really banged
they're
up.
not drafting Shaderi here. That's for sure.
No. Hampton. To me, that makes a lot of sense. That's a Jim Harbaugh. We're running 12 personnel. I'm running the rock type running back. That pick makes a lot of sense. Man, who's in the back with the Dennis Rodman shirt? That's crazy.
Vintage. Vintage.
Because they think about how far they got last year, Jim Harbaugh's first year, and he was running Dobbins and old boy from Baltimore that doesn't catch passes. So now he has a bell cow back.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Jim, because both of these backs went to the same division. Who's in a better situation, Amarion Hampton or Ashton Janty, to start their career?
Mm, I don't know, man. Like the Chargers always look good on paper, but like it's different now that Harbaugh's there. Um,
He had him looking physical year one, too.
yeah, I'll give the edge to the Chargers just because of Harbaugh. That's it. Like if it was the Chargers as an organization, I would say, I don't know because the Raiders are going to Raiders. You know what I mean? Like they're a little bit like us, unfortunately. Hate to compare them, but they got that kooky owner as well. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'd say the Chargers for sure are more well built with their current administration, if you will.
Helps out Justin Herbert a lot. Justin Herbert needs to win a playoff game, by the way.
Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, I understand his ability. I just don't get like
He has
why
OMG talent, but he
he's like
has.
he's putting the top 10 quarterbacks in the league every single year, and it shows nothing to prove that.
I agree,
Not in the
Dimple
playoffs.
Wonder. I want
Not
Matthew Golden going with one of these top quarterbacks now.
Yeah,
I would love for Matthew Golden to go to Houston with CJ Stroud. That'd be
that would be
dope.
nice. That would be nice to see.
That'd be a really nice fit.
I'm gonna let let's see the Green Bay Packers pick a wide receiver here and ruin
And break
history.
tradition. Yeah, break
Yeah,
break tradition.
yeah,
Especially since they're picking in Green Bay. What
yeah.
what
I
what
mean,
a
they're in Green Bay, and like Jordan Love wants a wide receiver, right?
So Daniel Jeremiah has Maxwell Hairston mocked to Green Bay in his mock.
Yeah, but
Maybe
Golden wasn't here, right? Like everybody's mock had him going 12.
well now, but I say that only because if he had them going corner, would they potentially look at Will Johnson?
Yeah, they could.
Since they have like they may just say, hey, best player on the board, he's sliding.
Yeah,
Um I Matthew Golden with CJ Stroud just feels good.
I mean that'd be cool. That would be cool.
Let's
CJ
see.
Stroud is just a likable dude too. Like
The Packers are still their pick is not in yet.
nope.
Now, on the broadcast that I'm looking at, they are discussing Will Johnson right now, but they're saying that they're asking for the medical team. There could be an issue with his medical, so they're trying to get feedback. Mike Green could also be in play here too. The defensive end from Marshall, right?
Yep.
Who there are people who have told me I don't care what team Mike Green goes to, he's gonna be a 15 sack guy in the league, and people are gonna be like, "What the hell?" Like he's
He's a monster. I mean, it's like Demarcus Ware played at Troy. You know.
true. So Mike Green could be in play.
Yeah, he's good.
The other kid, also a defensive end still on the board from Boston College, um, Donovan Izaraku, who's another one. If they say they don't go Mike Green, they go another. He's another guy that was some mocks had him in the top 20, um, depending
Almost
on
every mock I
preference.
saw had Mike Green up there in the top 20. I'm kind of surprised he's still there too.
You know what would be a tradition? I know we're throwing out a lot of names for Green Bay, but that's just because of certain situations. But Starks would be like the traditional Green Bay pick. I feel like here from safe All American safety from Georgia. Just he fell to us at 23.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah,
feel like that's something.
yeah.
How many years has Mike Green played ball? He got that JPP hype.
Mm.
Who was the last pick? Feels like we're dragging a little bit here at the end of this round. Or am I just tired and old?
Uh, and old. Um, no, I mean Chargers took all of the time. That's what I'm
Oh,
saying.
the
Like they were,
Chargers took Hampton. That's
yeah.
right. I need to update that.
Mm. So Mike Green played 6 games at Virginia in 21, and then he played 13 games each in the Sun Belt in 23 and 24. So um, in 2024 he had 17 sacks. In 2023 he had 5. So he had a good year. Let's just call it that.
He had a good year.
Mm, I'll get him. The dog has to go to bed. Hmm. The 18-year-old Chihuahua had to go to bed. He's a soldier.
The Packers pick is in. Cantu said, "Remember when we used to be blessed to watch the Spurs playoff game and the draft at the same time? Man, we had some great playoff games too. Like, man,
That lottery's coming, man. Just buckle in. Gonna
I
mess
like
around and
this.
get 2 lottery picks.
I like this question from who's this from? Oh, from Jenna. And I see the Spencer James comment. That's funny. Comparing Travis Hunter's the real life Spencer James. It's so true.
Are they picking Golden? Is
Are
that
they
why you're on
picking
the spot?
Golden? They broke the curse, Jim.
I knew it. Called it.
Oh my God, Green Bay.
Jenna, you have to send a super chat to Steve for being wrong. The Packers do take wide receivers in the
That's
first.
crazy.
Hey man, Jordan Love's got a target. gonna be nice. That's it. It's very appropriate for Golden to be the mock and everyone's bored for the Cowboys, and then he's a Packer instead. That's perfect. That tracks perfectly. Yep.
They are rapping right now. This is crazy.
There's a lot of people there.
I know
Golly, it's
it's
perfect.
their draft and everything, but
It's
jeez, man.
crazy. That's a lot of people.
They're over here talking about Vince Lombardi's grandkids.
Wrap it up.
Yo, wrap it up, B.
Wrap it up. Classic.
For the first time since 2002, I told you, Jalen. It
You nailed
was
that. You nailed
Javon
that.
Walker,
Yep.
Matthew Golden. See, so that right there tells you two things. Will Johnson's medical was no bueno
Suspect. Yep. Or at least
because it
questionable.
took the whole time. So
Yep.
his medical was no bueno,
There's some
and
debate.
they went to the top of the board.
Yep. Oh, yeah, they like that too.
Josh Jacobs called that one in the offseason. He said, "We need a wide
That's a,
receiver
that's a
one."
sexy pick when your draft is in Green Bay too. That makes everybody excited.
Yeah, all those people are like, "Wow, we got like that's awesome," and I'm happy for him too because he was talking about his grandma's house that they're trying to buy back in
Yeah.
Houston. Um, yeah, my wife's a big Matthew Golden fan. Um, they're trying to, so he's going to be able to get his house back. He said it was for sale.
Hmm.
It was a house he grew up in. So,
How to raise
damn,
that price?
Drew. Damn, Drew, tell us how you really feel, brother. Shit.
Like I can't root for him now. Dang.
Let's go,
That's a tough one.
Matthew.
That's
I
a tough
love this. 3 first rounders, y'all. Our tech. Look at us. We went from not having a first rounder for a damn decade to Sark got us got brothers out here getting paid. Damn, they got fireworks. Hey, it's kind of lit, Jim.
Yeah, it is.
It's kind of lit, dog. Not even go.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm so happy for him. With the backdrop of the stadium and everything.
Yeah. That's a cool scene.
You're right. Hey, Drew, look at you maturing. We also are a channel of growth here. Growth mindset.
Mature.
At least he's
Mature
going.
mind.
At least he's going to a good organization.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's what you got to hope for your college guys. It's like, look,
Yeah.
at least don't send them to some place full of
Bro,
nonsense.
I need to know how many people are at this event. This event is crazy, bro. This is like a like a Scottish concert. You know what I mean? Like where you see the people jumping like a sea. There's so many people there.
Matthew
What's the
Golden,
weather
man.
right now too? It was 49 degrees, so it's perfect by their weather. Mm, yeah, man, he's gonna do well there. They said they estimated that there'd be 250,000 people there over 3 days, though.
Mm. Brianna said that's a true super spreader right there.
Yeah. Hmm.
Hey, Matthew Golden, Longhorn legend, 4th and 13. We'll never forget it. 4th and season. Where were you when Matthew Golden saved us? Look at that. Look at how many one-handed catches. He was cooking the Ava Red on Georgia. Buddy went and hit the portal after that. Um, that's the thing. He's a complete receiver. He's not just a speed guy. He's a complete player. The speed is surprising. The Michigan touchdown was one of my favorite plays, and that was one of Quinn's best throws of the year.
JB said he didn't want to play anywhere cold. Well, so much for that. About as cold as it gets. Besides Buffalo. Brandon needs a new favorite team or a new favorite player for the team. He's gone now.
Oh
Get in that portal. We need a new.
man, Matthew Golden, thank you for your service, brother. I'm gonna miss you, brother. Drew Yanez said, "I miss you, Golden." Yeah, that Michigan. Man, the Vikings went up there and got up quick. Kirby goofy ass is almost on the field. I remember that play. I thought he was about to tackle him. Going from no picks to 3 in the first round in 4 years is crazy. I know. Y'all, we might look, we still need what? The Georgia record is 15. 15 drafts, 15 guys picked, which was the 2022 draft. So we still got 12 to go to tie it, 13 to go to, and I have the list of names of guys who I think could get drafted still. Let me bring up my little notepad.
Uh-oh. Giants are calling.
The Giants are the
They're
Giants
on the
aren't
horn.
just
They're trying to
so
get
they
Shador
must
right now.
they're probably getting I think they're getting Jackson Dart.
Ooh, yeah, you're right. Sounds like they might be, yeah.
I think they're getting Jackson Dart. I don't think they
Jackson Dart is such a perfect QB name.
which is interesting because that's right before the Rams pick.
Yeah, it is. That's why they're trying to slide in.
I don't think it's Shador, guys.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it
Because
is Jackson Dart.
which is funny because I'm not saying Jackson Dart can't play. I'm not that's he obviously is a very, very talented young man and great arm ability, all that. Yeah, he got the stunner shades on right now. It's him.
Yeah. Yeah.
My problem with Jackson Dart though is the end of the Florida game and toughness.
Yeah.
That's he showed me the opposite of what I want to see when shit gets tough. In that
He's getting
Florida game,
he's getting hugged like he got picked already. You know what I mean? Like
JB, JB about to crash out.
yeah.
Everything was sweet. It was all good just a minute ago. Yeah, about to draft Will Levis 2.0, baby.
Yeah. So you would take Shador over him? Over Jackson?
Yeah,
I
I
would
think
too.
that's I think that's my other problem with Jackson Dart is he played in a loaded offense with which is not a bad thing, but he played in a
Right.
loaded offense that's not really a pro style offense, more of and shoot. He's gonna have to learn how to play from under center. He's gonna like Shador played in a pro style system.
Yeah.
He did not. And which you can at this day and age, you can transfer that. A lot of quarterbacks have been able to transfer over. My problem
Yeah.
with Jackson Dart was the end of the Florida game. He was literally starting to throw YOLO balls just to not get hit. He didn't want to get hit.
Yep.
And when I start seeing stuff like that, it's like, dude, that's the league every single week. Like the only person to give him credit because he gets a lot of shit all the time. The only person that is seeing what I'm seeing when it comes to Jackson Dart is Dan Orlovsky. And he has been highlighting this as well
Yep.
with Jackson Dart about that. He's like, dude, you need that floor. And he literally was like, if I was a GM, I would go straight to the Florida game. Like what? Like it almost looked like you were trying, like somebody from Vegas got to you, and
Yeah.
you
You
were
were literally
trying, like
throwing
the
the game.
game was fixed.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
so that's where he was like, I would start there because the
Yeah.
first half of the game you look like your normal self, and then all of a sudden you got hit a couple times, and you're like, I'm gonna do
Yeah.
everything, but not. I'm not gonna stand
You're
in
a
this
different
pocket.
guy. Yeah.
But some of
So
us,
the
that's the
real
thing.
quick, so the Texans got pick number 34. They got pick number 99, and they got a 2026 third rounder as compensation for trading to the Giants.
To move back 9 picks,
Yeah, it's pretty good.
that's pretty good. So they won't have a first rounder today, but Memphis is
They
up
get pick
77 to
20.
51.
Yeah,
Idiots put that game on TNT instead of the Denver LA Clippers game, which is a way better series. But that's neither here nor there.
yeah. Are you rooting for any NBA team to win the title?
No, I'm rooting for the San Antonio Spurs, baby.
There you go. Perfect
But
answer.
in terms of
Classic
I
Texas.
money wise, I bet Boston before the season.
Yeah,
So I'm staying with that. And I bet Boston last year before the season. So
yeah.
I'm just gonna ride it out until
Oklahoma City looks nice, but we'll see. They got to do it. The way they did Memphis in that first game, that was crazy.
where's my notepad at?
All right, say it. Okay, that crowd shot doesn't look as heavy as the other ones did. That's it's not as many people as I thought. Because some of those aerial shots were like crazy.
Damn, JB. You're quarterback of the future, baby. I'll be honest
Well,
with you. I'm just being honest. Like as a Cowboys fan,
yeah,
go
I'm alright
ahead.
with it. Thank you.
Go ahead.
I mean, the worst thing that could have happened was Shadir there for us.
Go ahead. That
Be the most
doesn't
athletic
now
division of
now he
football
will be
Shadir was
coach.
there.
I do think Brian Dable has not forgotten how to coach quarterbacks. So if there's somebody that can get the best out of him, I do think it is Dable. But Jackson Dart is going to be. Here's the other thing: New York media market is a beast. The one thing is, how quickly are they going to be asking him to play because they have Jameis and Russell Wilson, right,
Uh-oh, Rams just traded
to Atlanta.
to Atlanta. Sorry, continue.
So, what is the expectation for Jackson Dart long term?
Yeah,
Because right now it's like, is he QB3? You know what I mean? Like, throws a great deep ball, great arm, played in a sexy offense. I'd also ask you, like, all that talent they spent. No, I mean, you think about transfer portal, all that. How come Ole Miss never made the playoffs?
yeah,
There's a lot of questions.
yeah.
It's a lot of questions. You know who Jackson Dart reminds me of? What's my man's name from Varsity Blues that was played by the late great Paul Walker
Yeah,
that ended up becoming the offensive coordinator with his
yeah,
after the coach after that damn coach John Voight's character.
yeah.
He said, "Come
Vanderbeek.
on now, come on now,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
let's go, let's go. You run what I
Um,
tell you to run, boy." He's Paul Walker from Varsity Blues.
who is Atlanta wanting here? I'm trying to think. Like Will Johnson
I don't know.
or Mike Green, maybe. I mean, I don't understand. Surely they're not picking another quarterback. Thanks, Brianna. What's on the menu, sir?
Some pizza.
Nice.
Man, they're gonna have Jackson Dart. He looks like a white youth pastor too. So they're gonna have three youth pastors in the quarterback room. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Giants gonna Giants. Let them do it. Let them do it.
Is JB still here? Come on, JB. We're almost at 300 people in the chat right now. We got 294. JB, come back. I need to hear.
Text them.
Bro said, Tommy DeVito, you are a jet.
Oh, oh, yeah, he is.
Tommy
That's
DeVito.
where all quarterbacks go to die. I guess nobody wants Aaron Rodgers, huh? He's done. He's retired. Forced retirement.
Hey, you know what? The last Ole Miss quarterback that the Giants took, they won a couple Super Bowls with.
Yep.
Wait for that. Wait, you'll hear that how many times?
How did Dayball look? He looked really excited, but I mean, he looked really excited when they let Saquon walk too, so didn't really mean anything. Yeah, neighbors is a special kid.
Where did the Rams trade back to? Did you see the value there?
Uh,
Dable's excited to have a job still. That's funny, Trent.
oh, James Pierce Jr.
Wow. Okay. They got two edge guys.
Yeah,
Atlanta's
like
not
another
playing.
edge. Yeah,
Jalen Walker and Captain Crash out, James Pierce Jr. Okay.
yeah, that's crazy to get two edges.
Hey, if they can keep his mental on point, they got themselves a bat. That's a big time player,
Yeah,
especially at the back of the first round. Ooh,
you were looking for the Rams compensation.
they're showing it now. So they
Okay,
got a second round pick,
there you
a
go.
seventh, and a 2026 first.
It's kind of heavy
They gave up a third as well for this year. It looks like
to get a first round pick. That's pretty. They must really wanted him.
Brad Holmes take all my. Dayball and Showing are going to be fired in 2 years. There's JB said I'm sick, brother. You got an edge rusher. You got a quarter. You got your quarterback of the future. If anybody, if anybody watches the Righteous Gemstones,
Yes.
they got my man, the leader, the youth pastor that leads the Prism group. They got him out there.
Yeah.
they
Giants
got.
basement secured. Correct. Yeah. The handshake. I love it.
I knew that QB camp was going to damage somebody. I saw it coming too, brother. I was thinking the same thing, JB. He saw the QB camp. You
I know.
know, Gruden, because Gruden be falling in love with these kids.
Yeah, it does. I never in a million years thought that the Washington Commanders would be the one that's not in the basement in our division. Never in a million years.
I got to update the tracker, guys. I've been missing picks. It's been a lot happening.
Too much fun. Let's
It's
see.
like the end of the first round just popped off.
Yeah.
So Matthew Golden,
Yeah. So we got 6 picks left.
who did who did
Donovan Jackson is your next one.
is for Minnesota?
Yeah. Then Dart, then Pierce.
Thanks.
So Rick is convinced that we're going to take Shadur at 44. He's very much into the conspiracy that
Dion's the future coach.
Dion is the future coach. They're only using Schottenheimer as a transition because they don't want to pay the buyout to Colorado, and we're going to get Shadur, and then that secures Dion coming to the Cowboys. That's his conspiracy theory. So notated now on video for future reference if that happens.
I love it.
Oh man, if the Lions took Shadur, that would be crazy. Sorry, Jared Goff. Step aside. That would be crazy amount of weapons for Shadur if he went to the Lions too. Thing about Shadur too is he's never had a good offensive line. Like he's always running for his life. Like who knows what he could be with an offensive line?
That's what
You know?
we haven't seen it.
Yeah.
He said he called that.
They're really milking these commercials on the end of the draft here.
You ain't lying.
They got to pay for Stephen A. Smith's contract.
Oh no. Who's gonna pay for Unks?
Oh man, he's in deep water.
Deep, deep waters.
Yeah. He says he'll be back for the preseason. I'm like, I don't know.
I
I don't know, man.
don't know about that, big dog.
That's the wishful thinking. Ask Michael Irvin, he'll tell you. And Michael didn't even get half the trouble that he got into.
I don't
Welcome
think you
back to
had.
Fox, where they
I don't,
take everybody.
don't think you had the facilities for that big man.
There's always a home at Fox. Don't worry. I got some New Orleans music going on there. Ravens. Who are the Ravens going to take?
Somebody good.
Right? I know. I feel like they just stacked.
I
I feel like
rarely
all
ever see a Ravens pick that I don't like.
yeah, and it's like these teams at the end of the draft just pick like BPA, and it's like the best player for everyone, and they just somehow didn't pick him. And they just keep going.
Well,
Oh my god. Yeah, what we just said.
I'm gonna be back with Skip by OTAs.
Oh my god. Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Wow. Wow.
The rich get
Ravens,
richer. The
the
rich
rich
get
get
richer.
freaking richer, dude. They're gonna have Malachi Starks and Kyle Hamilton next to each other. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Damn, he got some quality talent around him too.
Yeah.
What was going on there?
Speaking of quarterbacks that are running out of excuses, most Raven picks ever. Yeah, exactly.
Most Raven pick ever. Wow. Well,
And then
like
there was five. The rate or the lines are up. Speaking of
you
the
can
number one
make the argument. I hate to be this guy, but you can make the argument that Malachi's they got a better overall football player than we did.
yeah. No, there's no yeah, yeah. Yeah. I mean, we reach. We reach
Like,
for a guard like we always do. It's like, yeah,
it's
no
like,
question.
are you kidding me, dude? Really?
Like if you just go back from 12 or 13, call it, to now, take the quarterback out of it and maybe Shamar Stewart out of it, you're probably happy with most of those picks. Barron, Amarion Hampton, Golden, James Pierce, Malachi Starks, Mika, all those players I would rather have than a guard. Jalen Walker, Tyler Warren. I think Tyler Warren not getting drafted there, oh, to your point originally, like you can use him to block, right? Like,
Mm.
why wouldn't you at least take Warren there and say, cool, we're going to go 12 personnel block, right?
Yeah, I would have been.
Yeah. But you take a guard, a second round guard instead.
The Eagles are
Tyler,
going to get somebody
wait,
good too.
I know you're not. You talking about Tyler Smith is going to move to right? That's not happening. Tyler Smith is the left guard. That's the only solidified position.
Trent,
They're
who
not
do you
moving
want?
nothing.
Who do you want the Lions to pick? Ideally, because you guys are on the clock right now. Actually,
That's available. Will Johnson's still there.
Will Johnson's still there. Yeah.
Mike Green is still there. Todd Campbell's still there at linebacker. What about Trevion Henderson? What's their needs?
Nah, they don't need another running back.
AT, edge, offensive guard, wide receiver, and center.
They could take.
Mike Green. They're going to take Mike Green, dude.
They take Mike Green. That's crazy.
They might. If they need edge,
Or the Penn State guy, or not the Penn State guy, the Boston College guy.
dude, they're going to take Mike Green, I think. That's crazy. I think they might. Because that's a value pick right there.
And that would help them with Hutch coming back anyway.
Right.
Didn't the Lions take a corner last time they took the kid from Bama? They kept passing interfering with everybody.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Flag, flag, flag.
He's going to be a good player. I'm not trying to
I know. I'm just
be that guy, but he was Terry and Arnold. Yeah, they y'all took him last year.
someone just sent me a tweet about Cam Ward, and it said, "No flashy jewelry, no flashy suit, no flashy girlfriend hogging the attention. Just a regular suit, thin chain, alma mater pin, and his parents by his side. Yeah, he's playing 20 years of pro football.
Hmm.
But yeah, probably he grinded. I got love for the Titans. I hope he does well there.
Jeff Okuda is Jeff Okuda still in the league, brother? I don't know. Where's Jeff? I know he's not with the Lions anymore. Is Jeff Okuda still with us? Did he even make pension?
Is he still with us? That's not bad.
That may
All
have
right,
been
here
too
we go.
far.
Here we go. Who is it? Oh, Tyler Williams.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, that's surprising.
It's more of an upside pick.
Yeah, that's a. Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Hmm. Basically, he's a nose tackle.
Yeah. Hmm.
How he feeling, Trent? Trent's like, who the hell is that guy? I'm gonna have to go
Uh,
look him.
uh. That's how we felt about Mozzie. Let's be real. We knew Mozzie, but we didn't. We weren't like, should we be excited? I don't even. It kind of feels like that. It's probably fine, but
Well, that's the other thing. Mozzie was
oh
playing
my
next.
God, don't even wish that. Someone said
Mozzie
Mike
was.
Green to Philly. Please
Uh,
don't let that happen.
yeah,
Mike Green goes to Philly. Oh,
just cut the stream off. It'd be like that time when Gilbert Arenas was streaming the Lakers game and he was excited, and then they hit a buzzer beater against them, and they just cut the stream off.
they're like, oh, pull the cord. It's like when you played video games back in the day, and your friend was about to beat you, and you go, just pull the cord out of the wall. Just me. All right.
Yeah, unless there's a trade, folks, Shador's falling out of the first round
It's kind of
because
predictable, honestly.
it's Washington, Buffalo, Kansas City, and Philly.
Yeah, nobody wants a quarterback in those four teams. Not for a first round pick.
Lions subreddit is in shambles.
I bet.
Damn.
I know the feeling. Trust me. 2023. Felt the same way.
Well, while we're on commercial break, I'm gonna grab a little bite of this food here. Y'all make sure you hit the like button, subscribe. Appreciate everybody here in the chat. Who will come off the board? We got 4 picks left. Essentially, right? These teams were what our final four of last season. Philly being the champs. Philly, Washington, KC, Buffalo. Who's will we see Luther Burden come off the board? Who else do we got? I'm trying to see who else we got.
So Washington has an edge need, a safety need, a cornerback, a wide receiver, and a running back need.
I could see them taking a back, although maybe Henderson goes to. I could see
Yeah,
Henderson going to a couple of these teams. Um,
Henderson, yeah, is best available running back. Edge, if they go edge, Mike Green. If they go cornerback, they got Will.
one of these teams could also go Jahad Campbell too
Yeah,
from Bama.
And then Jaden Higgins at wide receiver is your next best available wide receiver. I kind of feel like running back makes sense for the Redskins here, Commanders, whatever.
They had Eckler, right?
Yeah,
And who else?
what Robinson or whatever.
Brian Robinson Jr., Eckler, Chris Rodriguez, or somebody like that. Damn, I just saw Rick's comment. That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Damn, Rick is going dark on us. For the record, Rick is always dark. So um, follow him on Facebook. A lot of people will be like, "What are you doing, Rick?" He takes great pride in being dark. Yeah, let's get Scam Scatterby right now. I'll be alright with
Oh, there was a question that Jenna asked earlier that I wanted to get back to though about the backs
that.
for Dallas tomorrow. Henderson, Judkins, or I forgot the other one. I
RJ
think right.
Harvey?
I think Judkins is probably the best fit because I don't think Henderson's going to fall to us.
No, he's gonna go right now. I think.
Um,
But what about Cam?
I
He's
would
got to be.
draft. I would draft Cam in like the third or fourth round. There's Mike Green.
He's the fourth best available running back right now on the board on ESPN.
Do they have Cam above the Virginia Tech running back, Bracial
Oh,
Tutton?
the current rankings are Henderson, Judkins, Caleb Johnson out of Iowa, and then Cam,
Yeah, I forgot about Caleb Johnson. Caleb Johnson. Okay,
and then
Tutton,
Dylan Sampson after that from Tennessee.
Samson from yeah. This is a great running back class.
Yeah, RJ Harvey at UCF is nice too,
R.J. Harvey's nice. Yeah, he
and
had.
he's like number 9 on the board right now.
Okay, they went tackle.
Oregon tackle. Okay.
Josh Connolly. That makes sense to me. Get somebody for Jaden Daniels. Also helps in your
Yeah.
run game.
Okay.
So 3 picks left. Y'all, they've been showing Mike Green. So
Rick, I saw Scattaboo in person last year, and he's legit.
Mike Green to the Bills.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think Mike Green going to any of these teams will make you a little bit sick, but I'd rather him go to the Bills than to go to the Eagles.
Was this the draft to like be? It was just better to be around, like to be picking, and at this point,
Yes. Yes, it's like a natural trade back. Yeah. Like I'm gonna take whoever's available to me when all of y'all dummies at the top mess it up. Yes. All
which
of
is
you.
why y'all pick it up there in the first place.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like I've never seen a draft where I'm like, are we sure we're picking better players
I don't know
right
why we're
now?
not like why are we not trading in right now to just take Will Johnson? Just take Will Johnson right now. Trade in, take him.
Unless the medical's really bad.
Or come in and pick Mike Green. Like why aren't we doing that? We need an edge.
We need an edge. Yeah. Show us you about something.
Come in and get Henderson. I'd be cool with that too. What we would do is come in and get Sanders. That's what we would do. And then we'd be like, come on, bro.
We got the
Don't need that right now.
headlines.
We don't need that right now. Yeah.
I do think that they're not going to draft another. They're not going to take another corner with medical concerns,
Yeah.
considering what they're currently dealing with. That makes sense. But to
Yeah.
Jim's point, guys, there's other. You have a lot of holes on this team, and there's some
We
good
need to do
football
something.
players that could be day one starters for you, and potential difference makers that are still on the board.
Yeah.
I don't think Luther Burden's fallen that far. Well, the Bills pick must be in then. Yeah, I'm like, why is the clock going when?
So Tyler Booker went on the podcast or the live stream with Micah on Bleacher Report, and during his interview with them, he said that he loves to make people lose the love for football. He likes to see the love of football leave their eyes when he blocks them.
That's hey, he's gonna say all the right things. We'll fall in love with him.
Well,
I
Mozzie said a lot of stuff like that too.
and then we found out Mozzie didn't love football.
Yeah,
That was the first red flag.
yeah. Nothing like another player that talks instead of just shows it, right? That's what we need.
Well, what's his face talked a good game too, and he showed it. Tyler Smith.
That's
People
true.
weren't happy. People weren't thrilled when he got picked,
Yeah. All they said was he does a lot of holding at Tulsa.
and he earned the trust of the Cowboys fans real quick.
They need to sign him right now.
Damn, Rick, you just throwing Joe Milton aside.
How do you feel about Sanders? In what way? Like, you don't
We've
need a quarterback right now. That's the problem. You have like 18 other
What
positions
is your
you can put.
financial plan for Dak if you're drafting a quarterback? Because that's just now you're just gripping money with. That's how like you're paying him $60 million and then saying we're not going to give you anything to work with.
Yeah.
JB said, "I'll take Joe Milton." Milton showed me what fans not to take serious online.
Yeah.
Taco. They were never going to take TJ Watt, by the way. I talked to somebody in deep into the building about that one. They were never in a million years going to take TJ Watt. They,
You think they regret that?
well, the words that I was told was that him and his brother, how do I want to say this? They're not man made.
Mm-hmm. No, that's fair. Yeah.
And
I
if
can
he
see that.
said if you look at their injuries over time, like they're not.
Yeah.
That's now. I asked him. I did. My follow up question was. I was like, okay, y'all don't want to pick some people with those type of questions. Okay, Maxwell did end up going, so that means maybe Azaria Thomas doesn't go in the first round either, the DB from Florida State. But my follow up question to him was, why didn't we pick Buda Baker then?
Yeah.
Because we needed a safety as well.
Yeah.
And he said, well, that's who I was banging the table for. But uh, what's his face? Rod Marinelli put his badge on the table for Taco because some coach at Michigan told him some shit about if you can unlock him and get the best out of him, then he'll reward you, blah blah blah, and it never happened. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, that's why those people aren't here anymore.
Yeah. All right.
What? The Eagles are on the clock now.
Oh boy.
They traded with Kansas City. So is this Mike Green?
Ugh.
Why would they trade up, Jim?
Mm.
I wish I could do the Brian Windhorse face. Now,
Every year.
why would they do that, Jim? Why would they trade up when there's only one
They
spot?
probably they probably didn't give up nothing to move up one spot either. Kansas City was like, you pick. We'll pick after you. It's cool. It's like we're gonna be in the Super Bowl together anyway. You go ahead. Let's see who you pick. It's like when you're at dinner and you're waiting to see what the person across from you orders first before you order. Nah,
True.
you order. You order. Go
Eh.
ahead.
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
gonna eat the
Instead
rest of that when you're done.
a
Yeah.
bag of chips.
Oh man.
Yo, Kentucky has some guys that are going to go day 2, day 3 from that defense that are going to be better NFL players than they like the Deion Walker hasn't been picked yet. Their big guy.
Yeah.
Um, somebody's going to get blessed with him at some point in this draft. They got a couple guys on the defensive line that can play, and then obviously you see the corner can play. There's a lot like Kentucky's defense was legit. They had no offense whatsoever. It was sad.
So the Eagles need right now are edge, tight end, wide receiver, offensive guard, and defensive tackle. So those other four categories, there's nothing on the board that screams "Let me trade up." Like they have to be taking Mike Green here.
I feel like and I feel like the run on the defensive tackles has already happened, right?
Yeah, exactly. I feel like this has to be Mike. I hope it's not, but it just makes too much sense.
What if they drafted Luther Burden?
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know.
He smells like an eagle, but I think it's Mike Green,
Yeah,
and that's gonna suck because they won a Super Bowl with the souped up defensive line.
right.
Cleveland,
Oh,
oh Cleveland's picking 33. Yeah, they're definitely taking Shador there.
right. That'd be beautiful if he fell to them for them.
First
What
pick of the
about
second round.
was there compensation shown on the Chiefs swap? I didn't see it.
Rick said that he thinks Deion Walker's the best D tackle in the draft, but he was playing with a fractured spine. Deion
Mm.
Walker was a problem. You want to go? You know how I know that? Go watch the Ole Miss game where you guys want to go watch Jackson Dart. Go watch Deion Walker fucking them up in that game. He was causing all sorts of hell. Um, Ole Miss actually low key got their ass whooped in that game. If you go back and watch the tape, JB, my prayers are with you, brother. He said, Lord, I know you give your toughest battles to the strongest soldiers, but I don't want to be strong anymore.
Mm. Yeah. What about like could Campbell be in play here too at linebacker for the Eagles?
There's a lot of people. There's a whole bunch of good football players.
I know, like that's the thing. I'm like,
Jahad Campbell's a starting
but
middle
like
linebacker for
how
somebody.
many linebackers do they have though? I feel like they got so many linebackers.
Well, it depends on if they're gonna pay Zach Bond, right? Because he was like
Yeah,
all pro, all that.
right.
So and they still have N'Kobe Dean.
Because that's their deal, right? Like they're like, if we're not gonna pay you, we just let you leave, and then we draft another dude.
Exactly.
That's kind of how you're supposed to do it, right? I don't know what that feels like, so Like, here's the thing, Steve. Their need is not even linebacker. They don't have a need for linebacker. But that is exactly why I think they're going to take Campbell here because they're going to trade up and take a player
That's
that
just the
they
best
don't
player.
even need, bro. They don't
Yeah.
even need him, and they're going to do it. Watch. So frustrating.
Not, bro. You don't got to convince me on Walker, Rick. I'm Team Walker. He's a dog. I know. I know. I know. He's going to be a really good NFL player, and then Walker's going to be one of the people that because at the beginning of the season he was being mocked at like the 12th pick.
Oh, well, it had to be the another 12th pick, right?
Didn't even
Of course, it
realize
had to
what
be that pick. Not 13th, not 11th. All right.
just one of them days.
I know. No, man. We got to milk these commercials for 2 more picks.
For real, you're right. They just cranked them up. They're like, "We gonna get our TV time, man."
Oh, Lord.
These picks been in.
They've been in. They decided it like 10 minutes ago when they swapped picks.
They're also the team that could. I mean, Jim, there's too many options, bro.
I know.
They're also the team that could just be
They're,
like, "Will Johnson has a bad medical. We'll wait."
they're yeah, they could pick anybody and I'm going to be mad, honestly.
like they could totally pick Will Johnson right now, which we could have
Yeah.
justified picking Will at 12, and they're
There's
just
like
like,
there's like 5 names I'm looking at the best available and I'm like all of them I'd be like, "Dang, wish I got him." Hmm.
Josh Simmons too,
Yeah, there's some dudes right there.
Donovan Ezraku. That's the guy I was talking about
Yeah,
earlier.
the edge. Yeah. So you got Mike, you
Hmm
got Donovan, you got Travion. They don't need a running back, but you know.
I see a lot of Cowboys mock drafts that have us taking Ravel Jr. in the second round
Hmm. Yeah, you can see
from
that.
ECU.
But I'll take Will Johnson falling. I don't care about his medical. Bring it on down. We had the best medical
At
staff.
this point, at this point in the draft, I agree with you
Yeah, take
because
him.
when he's healthy, he's a top 15, top 20 player
Yeah.
at minimum.
All right. What we got?
Jahad Campbell, you're right, Jim. Wow, he said they don't even need a linebacker.
Bro, that's not. Yeah, 5 needs, and none of them are linebacker. That's
BPA,
unbelievable. Unbelievable.
BPA, every pick, BPA.
Hmm. But they traded back to get into the. That's crazy. Who trades up for a player they don't need? But it's just a dude. They're like, I kind of like him. Ah, yeah, yeah. That's wild.
It's like, is Kansas City really going to go and take Jahad Campbell? I don't think so. Oh, Kansas City pick's already in. So it's the last pick of the first round. They got like, and Jahad Campbell's like classic Alabama middle linebacker, bro.
Yeah.
This, honestly, you know what they got him for? I'm going to tell you who they got him for. Daniels.
Yeah.
This is a Jaden Daniels reaction
Yeah.
to mirror him. They're
Yeah.
going to put him in the game when they play Washington. Is going to be mirror the quarterback. I'm telling you that's why they picked him.
Bye. Yeah.
It makes sense now. I told y'all. See, people have got Drew. People have got. Go back and watch the Florida Ole Miss game. That will tell you the truth about Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
I'm not tripping.
That's
People,
Titanic. Titanic collapse.
All right, so Buffalo took Maxwell Hairston.
All right, last pick, gentlemen and ladies. The running clock, 3 hours and 35 minutes.
That it didn't, and it doesn't need to be this long.
Yeah, they're just making that money.
The ads tonight have been crazy.
Oh, yeah, about that. We got 3 picks actually. Oh no, it is after this one, right? Yeah, because that's second round.
Yeah, we only have one pick left
Yeah,
tonight.
second round is tomorrow. Yeah. Wow. Did you hear what he said, Steve?
What do you say?
He just said the Richard just got rich. Campbell.
That's a football player. I need my dudes that don't even know they quotes properly.
Exactly.
That's how you know he's like Bobby Boucher. I'm just here to play
Yeah.
football.
Yeah. He's not lying though.
He's not lying.
Did you hear that?
What do you say?
The Eagles tried to trade up earlier, and they weren't able to get the deal done, and they just happened to get it done, and he fell to them. Can't make this stuff up. They literally tried to give up draft capital to get this dude, and then they were like, "Yeah, maybe he'll fall to us," and then he did. Yeah,
I hate
I miss the
I
Chip
hate
Kelly
England.
Eagles. Me too.
How many first round picks did Ohio State end up with? Because all of a sudden it's been a run on Ohio State guys.
Let me see.
I know we have Texas. We had 3. Alabama, Georgia had
So
2,
1, 2, 3. They got 3.
3,
So Tyleek, Donovan, and Amika.
and then Alabama has Jahad Campbell. Georgia had 3 because they had Malachi Starks.
You got Williams for Georgia, Walker, and Starks. Yeah. Bama had 2.
Booker and Campbell.
Yeah.
So Jalen Milrow is not a first round pick either. To
That
no
was kind of.
surprise.
I thought that would happen. He can't throw.
Last pick for the Chiefs could do anything here. They took an edge last time, Felix from K State.
Josh Simmons.
Josh Simmons.
There you go. Number 4. Of course, Ohio State gets one more than Texas, and like you jerks. The last pick of the draft.
At the last pick, right, the last pick, they get one more first rounder. Damn.
The
That's
right
his film
tackle.
from San Diego State because they got him out of the portal.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm.
he got hurt too. He didn't play the whole season because Donovan Jackson ended up playing left tackle and they still won the Natty.
Yeah. You just gotta stay healthy.
Drew said, "We can't even have that." I know.
Yeah.
We couldn't even. We couldn't even.
The last pick in the first round, and he looks like 18 times better than Tyler Guyton.
Stop. Do you like? Oh man, he does look. He does have a thicker build, more,
Exactly.
more. A little bit more girth than.
More like hasn't played tackle for 1 year at Oklahoma. Yeah.
I like how we're just here, just miserable together. JB said, "I miss the Tom Coughlin Giants. We
Oh.
needed a linebacker, receiver, D line, and O line, but we said no. Dart is the guy. He is no Mozzie. We're
Yeah.
going belt to ass in Columbus. You're damn right, Ryan." The chat is hilarious, yo.
Mhm.
Going
It
belt
is
to
my
ass.
it is my favorite part of draft night. Yep.
The chat never does steers us wrong.
And it's the one time a year that you get to just like eat a pizza, drink a beer, and not be serious. So it's great. Just sit back and be in misery. It's coming. 3% chance he'd be available in the second round. That would have been a good bet to make.
Yeah, I think the league. I think they made their point.
Hmm.
They made their point for sure, and it will be interesting to see where he goes. I think Cleveland is definitely in play first pick. That smells like something that would happen.
Yeah.
Um, but at this point, if Shadur is able to go to Cleveland and have any type of success, I never want to hear anything from anybody again about that because that's quarterback hell.
Yeah. Well, and
Uh,
this is what I was alluding to at the beginning, where does Dion step in and go, nah, we're not going to go there. Nobody's ever done that in the second round, right? I don't think so. Right?
like, what do you? Yeah, because what do you have to threaten them with? It's not like you're going to go play another sport.
Yeah, I mean, like they're just like, no, we don't choose you, Cleveland. Sorry. Oh man.
Yeah, I do, but I do think for Shador, let this be a fire and go ball,
Yeah.
go ball. That's all.
Or
That's all
or
it is.
Cleveland may do the Cleveland thing of taking Milrow ahead of him tomorrow. Never know.
I'm also so, and then just before we sign off, I want to touch on two things, and then we can bounce. Number one, where our quarterback Quinn Ewers, where does he end up? Does he go? I think he will go in the second or third round. But where does he end up? Right? What's the best fit for him? Teams like Las Vegas, teams like San Francisco, people that have to pay Brock Purdy, teams like that to be thinking about. Y'all let us know in the chat where you thinking Quinn would be a best fit. Because I do think there could be a little bit of a run on QBs. You brought up Milrow. I'm bringing up Quinn. We have Shador still on the board. Even a guy like uh, uh, the Syracuse quarterback.
Tyler.
Uh, um, well, you have Tyler Shuck from Louisville, but you also have Kyle McCord from
Yeah.
Syracuse.
Mhm.
These are guys I have all kind of in the
Yeah.
same range, right? That could be a starter in the right situation, right?
Mhm.
So where do they go tomorrow? So that's number one. And then for us as Cowboys fans, we were talking about this earlier because do you just go all in and build off of the Booker pick and try to get Judkins? So we're pick 44, right?
Yep.
I need to see us. We still are 11 picks away.
Yeah. I
There's a
would
lot
love.
that can. I
In
mean,
terms of looking at like best available tomorrow, like the thing that would excite me the most tomorrow is if like Mike Green fell to us. Like looking at the best available players right now, I would
how
also be.
realistic is
I,
that, Jim?
it's probably not realistic, but like that would make me the most excited, and then running back after that.
I
Give
feel
me
like
another running
him
back
and Will Johnson are going to go probably in the
immediately.
first 5 picks
Yeah,
of tomorrow.
yeah. They should for sure. But like, give me like Burden or
Hmm.
Cam or Henderson, or Green, any of those like 4 or 5 dudes would be that would make me feel good. Will,
I'm with you.
we got
I'm
we
with
got
you.
holes everywhere. So yeah,
Um,
you'd like to see a skill position player though. I mean, if we don't get a running back or a wide receiver right now in
then
round,
what are you telling Dak and CD?
it's bad. Yeah,
You didn't sign anybody in free agency. You, like
yeah.
we made some little trades, to get to which are Jags. I mean, I'm just being
Well,
honest,
and the,
right?
and the the other thing you can't do is go reach for like UCF's running back tomorrow at 44. Like, don't reach again. Just take whoever is the best available. Just do that. But I just don't have a lot of faith, Steve. I'm sorry.
That's not how we, yeah.
Yeah, that's not how we operate.
But that's why we end up in situations where the player that we really want that fits a need ends up getting plucked because we broadcast to the world that that's what we need, right? You remember you really wanted Dallas Goddard that year, and we had
Eagles.
to pick. We broadcasted it like everybody and their mom knew we wanted a tight end, and Philly does what they do and jumps right in there. That was the draft we went to.
Well, and I think that's part of the reason why like we go out there and say like certain people that I know we're not going to draft. Like I think he like Jerry puts it out there like that because he's like everybody thinks we're going to take Matthew Golden and we're going to take a guard. Like that's kind of how we operate now, you know. So like it's going to be somebody you never saw coming. That's your Jane Slater. At least the Niners didn't get a linebacker. Some hope.
I mean, they got a great edge though, Michael Williams.
Yeah, no, I know. But
Like if I'm a 49ers fan, I'm pleased with that pick.
yeah,
Um, well, look to everybody here. I really appreciate you guys attending the draft party tonight. It's cool to just be sitting in here with my buddy talking ball. Um, the highs, the lows, the excitements, the
yeah,
all of it. It's not easy to sit here and stream for almost 4 hours, right? And you guys make the time go by quick with just all the engagement in the chat,
yep,
some of the super chats we received tonight. Um, I mean, we're 4 hours in. There's still 321 people here watching us, so it's really really cool. Just and I'm always appreciative of that. I'll have some draft recap stuff over the weekend. Maybe even stream tomorrow, depending on how things are going. Not this long, but maybe
yeah.
just some post game stream or something, just to hop on and vibe out with you guys. But hey, I really appreciate everybody that continues to come on and support this channel. And yeah, we'll be back a little bit later. Jim, thank you so much. Anything else you want to add, sir, before we sign off?
No, man, I always appreciate the time. It's always good to do this every year when we can. And shout out to the wives for holding it down for 4 hours.
Absolutely.
So,
Thank you, Brianna. Thank you, Mallory. We're very, very thankful for you guys. So
yep, yep.
thank you so much. All right, y'all. We'll be back tomorrow. Peace.